Hey everybody, welcome to the 241st episode of the CAF Update here on the CAF Plus channel. We got a busy show tonight. Lots of stuff to review. We've got guests in the green room. I've got photos to show. I've got videos to show. We got a lot of interesting stuff going on. But we are going to start off with the amazing, the immortal. Uh, some of you call him Tom, some of us call him Bob, but he's Mr. Layton to me. So he was in Osaka last weekend, and he was an amazing hit, thanks to the Thunderbolts movie, but a lot of other stuff going on there. So he sent me a lot of footage, probably over 30 minutes of it, but I've distilled it down to 10 minutes, believe it or not, of content of his trip there. So we're going to go ahead and play that, get that thing started, and then we'll have both Tom Layton and Joey Kroner from Dyson Comics here with us to talk about the trip and a few other things that are going on with them. So without further ado, we have our latest WTF episode from Bob.
So, welcome to another episode of Where in the World is Bob Layton? And right now, I'm with Joey. He's back. He's back from America. We're in Gimpo Airport.
Yep, Gimpo International
Airport, and we are on our way to Osaka, to the Osaka Con. So, we're sitting in the lounge right now, and there's the Queen. There's Cleo. You know where in the world Bob Layton is, right? You say you always know. Yeah, so anyway, we're just getting ready to board. We're just having a little nosh or whatever. So anyway, more later, right? Okay. All right, it's day one of the Osaka Comic-Con. You can see there's a line of people waiting to get in here on a Friday. I'm here with Joey. And here's the beautiful thing, okay? You guys are going to love this. They won't let us in. All right? They won't let us in. Apparently, even though they showed them I'm on the program book or whatever, they are the staff of the convention, not the staff of the con. They're the staff of the convention center. So we are barred. So I had to call Spencer, to call the promoter, to try to let us in the damn doors. So more on that later. Well, guess what? We made it inside, okay? So it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday. It's slow. It's a little slow, but we've been relatively steady. Let me show you. Here's our booth here. You see OG from Drink and Draw. He's there, and Cleo's around here somewhere. Hang on. There she is. There's the Queen. Yeah. So yeah. And CB's right next to me again. They always put CB down here. So let me just walk down there. So yeah, see, I'm doing the podcast, so for the CAF thing.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, I'll come back and ask you something horny later.
Live from Osaka Comic-Con.
Thank you, brother. So more later. Okay, we're back there, and there is my brother from another mother.
Oh,
how about that? Welcome to the CAF podcast. Where in the world is Bob Layton?
Yes,
you
sir.
finally made an episode.
Yes, sir.
How about that? Because you got cut from the last one.
Oh, yeah, I did?
Yes. Well, because remember you were doing that exhibition thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
And apparently it ran so long they cut you.
They cut me off. All right, brother.
That's terrible.
Don't cut me this time.
Okay. Okay, guess what? I'm here with my buddy Mike Golden.
Where?
You've been all over, right? You've been Where in the World is Mike Golden?
Yes, and
right?
they keep cleaning it up afterwards.
Okay,
too,
yeah. The one thing I wanted to tell you while we're on camera, last year when I did the WTF thing at OAX,
Yes.
yours was the most popular segment with all the questions I asked people.
Oh, well, am I surprised?
Yeah, because it was.
Yeah, I'm humble too, folks,
Yes,
by the way.
yes, because he never really answered the question. You remember what it was, right?
No, remind me.
In the Golden House, is it showers or baths?
Oh, you really want to know, don't you?
I'm an asshole. I
You really
know.
want to know
I
that,
know.
don't you? Yeah.
Listen, it's so good to see you, man. It's so funny when I
No,
travel.
back at you, man.
Yeah, same here. It's always a pleasure.
No, I
man.
was hoping I'd bump into you
Yeah,
while I was
I-
on this side of the world.
I was having a really bad day because you know about Butch dying, right? Butch
No,
Guice
I did not.
He passed away today.
Oh,
yeah,
I did not
And
know
he and
that.
I, were really good friends.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear
And worked
that.
together for
Yeah.
a long time. So
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen
I
you.
haven't had a chance. I'm compartmentalizing it. I get home, I'll probably cry like a baby. But right now, I'm
I
like,
get it.
I'm hanging in there, doing the job because this is where in the world. And
Well,
here I
none
am.
of us are getting any younger.
So
That's
you were
the
in
problem.
China and
Yeah.
you were in Hong Kong
Yeah, well, and Shanghai.
and Shanghai. Wow.
Well, see, now we've done all of the Disney parks. Okay,
So you can rest now?
Shanghai was last on the list.
Okay.
We've done, but
yes.
now we plan on going back to Paris later this year, and we'll go to
Oh my God.
Paris again.
Oh my God.
And what that will mean is that in 1 year, in 2025, we have done all of the Disney parks.
So he's experiencing a second childhood. How nice.
Hey, Mickey and I, come on. Hey, look, see?
Right.
See, Mickey
right.
and I.
Hey, baths or showers in the Golden House?
Depends on if Mickey's there or not. However, I love the Japan toilets. I'm just going to tell you
me
that.
too. I love robot toilets. So if you're wondering where in the world is Bob Layton, here, check this out, guys. Here's the bay at sunset.
Wow.
Pretty cool. It's a big port town, Osaka, right? So there you go, man. There we go. Okay, guys. You know Alex Sinclair and you know Impio. What they don't know is each other. So I just introduced them or whatever. I introduced Alex as a great colorist and friend, Alex Sinclair, and suck-ass fanboy, Impio Jude. She's busy, but we need to talk to her. Agnes.
Why, hello.
Oh, hi. It's Bob Layton here,
Hi,
Agnes. And I'm putting you on my podcast for the CAF podcast.
Oh,
For the fans out there, because you guys are familiar with Agnes, one of the most popular artists in all of Asia here. So you're coming to Drink and Draw
I am.
next week. Our theme is going to be characters who are intangible.
Oh.
Yes. So we have to think about that.
At least now I know.
I'm giving you advance warning, right?
Prepare.
Yes.
I'm
But
so excited.
I'm sure you'll come up with some. So yeah, you're gonna be our guest this Thursday, right?
Yes.
That's
I'm
wonderful.
Gonna be there.
Yeah,
I'm so
I can't wait.
excited.
Thank you so much. We'll see you then. All right.
Thank you. Excited.
Hi, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you, Bob?
Welcome to another CAF podcast, man. Now I hear you're a big Gotcha Man fan.
I am actually.
Did
yeah.
he share? Did he give you a
Give me
book?
the book and the poster. Yeah,
Oh,
thank you.
wonderful! Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. No, I didn't know you were a Gotcha Man fan. I had such a blast doing that cover.
I met the great Sandy Frank a few years ago.
No kidding.
Yeah, when it was Penthouse.
Wow.
Yeah, interesting guy.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, this is everybody on CAF. They love your work, man.
thank you, sir.
It's always good running into you
Good
here,
to see you.
bro.
I always feel so underdressed.
You
when I
are.
meet you.
I hate to tell you, you are.
I dress for comfort.
I know you do. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Take pictures of this.
I'm sorry, Hannah. I love you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
What is Ant-Man here? Yeah, I can't sign it. So yeah. So do I just stand here? Sure. Okay. All right. Marvel Studios booth, and we're going to do a photograph session where people are lining up here to do a photo session for because apparently in the space of 2 days, the Ghost has become one of the most popular characters in Japan. So being the co-creator of the Ghost, here I am. So we're doing an impromptu photo session, and we'll see what happens. Okay, and we got the whole gang with us, and hopefully we'll have some fun.
Hey, there's Bob and Joey.
I'm applauding you and Kasra because you edited down 3 hours of footage to 10 minutes.
It did take a little bit of effort
There was
on
a
my
lot of
part,
stuff.
but I mean,
Good
there
job,
there was a lot of stuff left on the cutting room floor. But look, unlike Mike McCone, I decided I was not going to be underdressed, and I threw my coat on
Look
there.
at you. I know. Look, you got the scarf. You got the Bob Layton
Didn't think
scarf.
we had
going.
these in
I
Florida,
love
did
that.
you?
Yeah, that's good. No, man, it was crazy, but I spent like hours in my room after the show, and trying to put it in in order. So Kasra, and he said, "God bless you." After I did that, because at least I had the opportunity a day or two ahead to put that everything in order, so it wasn't just a jumble. But yeah, there was over 3 hours of footage, So you guys did a pretty good job, although. It's not a WTF. It's a combination WTF and
It
Where
was. I didn't know how to marry the two intros. I could have done an intro of one and an outro
it's
of the
more
other. I
of a
guess.
Where in the World.
You were
It had some
traveling, but you did some
WTF
interviews,
interviews
too.
in it, But you know what I'm
You
saying.
made it into two different shows. Your interviews could have been in the WTF and the Osaka. I thought that line
Yeah.
at Osaka was there for you. And then you spoiled it by saying they were just waiting to get in. You should have said that was the line for my signing.
You had enough footage to do both. You could have done 2 episodes, actually.
I could have.
You
You're
could have done
absolutely right.
WTF and that.
But hey, I got to say hi to Joey. We haven't seen each other.
Oh, I know.
Joey?
I told Joey.
Yeah,
he's
it's
gotta
been
come
quite a
back on the
while.
show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's since before. It feels like before the new year. I mean, it's been a long time. So what have you been up to?
Yeah.
Outside of traveling to the States recently.
Joey
Yeah,
was a
I went to the
wreck
States
after
to
the show,
visit
man.
family, and then I flew back to Korea, and then we just dumped all the stuff out of our bags and loaded it up with posters and comics to bring to Osaka. Took a quick sleep and went to the airport the next day. But yeah, since the new year, I've been working on the crowdfunding thing for the Gotcha Man book.
Mm-hmm.
To get a bunch of those sold, and then we made posters for Osaka. But there it is. There, it actually ends today. We made it as a this is what is. It's kind of a Korean version of Kickstarter. It's not just Kickstarter, but it's also sales. So I use that because it's a big platform, and then it also can advertise the shop in Korea a little bit. Those don't ship outside of Korea, but I've got a retailer partner that I'm wholesaling some to through the what is that will he'll be able to make them in the States. If anyone contacts me at my email, then I can push that onto him if someone wants to get a set of them. So we've got,
Great
of course,
wraparound
Bob's.
cover too by me.
Yeah,
and
here's
Alex.
I was going to say, did
Here's the
Tom
poster
do
of it.
anything for that? Wait, hold it up again. Let's see.
Okay, right here. You see.
There we go. Yeah, it's not too
So-
bad.
Yeah,
That's
come
all right.
on. It's my first shot at manga. I think I did okay, man.
You did. Did you color that, or did you have
So
Sinclair
Alex
do it?
Sinclair colored it.
Yeah.
He decided at the con at Osaka that Alex is going to be my official colorist now. So I'm very happy about that. He said he'll do whatever I need him to do. So that's just thrilling. He's an amazing talent. No doubt about it.
That's
And
true.
a big Gotcha Man fan himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
we gave him some books and posters and stuff while we saw him at Osaka. He was
So
really
Joey,
happy.
tell them how sick you and Cleo got. All this
Yeah, I got
running around. They, 12 hours back in Korea, and there. By the time they got to the con, both of them were sick as a dog. He sounded like a busted chainsaw by the first day. It was over. His
There's a
voice
combination of fatigue and like having a cold and jet lag and everything. So every day with the con ed, I was just like, I just want to go home.
Yeah, by day 2, he sounded like Tom Waits. It's like he's talking like this. Everybody. It's like,
Well, but you made it though, and so you ended up being pretty popular at Osaka, Bob. It turned out, right? I mean, you were going to
well,
be there
here's
anyway, but
the
then
here's the
Thunderbolt happened.
insane thing, because the last thing I expected to do was Marvel to put out a good movie. It's like apparently the Thunderbolts was a huge hit. So Friday was kind of, you saw, the crowds were kind of no big deal. We had the Ghost Prince out and all that kind of stuff. And by Saturday morning, everybody had gone to the movies the Friday night, and the things were flying off the shelves, And then Joey made arrangements with me to go to Marvel Studios booth and do that signing. And that signing, Joey can tell you, went on forever. It was just all the footage we sent you was over a half hour long.
I did. I condensed it down to 30 seconds, but yes, I watched all 30 minutes of
the
it.
lines, but it was really funny. Joey, tell the story about the one kid. The lines were just
Yeah. So there's this big line, and people are going through it and taking pictures. And there's some people that asked me before they got in the line. I heard they were asking, and I said like, oh, you created the Ghost. And they're like, oh, that's cool. Oh, and Ant-Man and War Machine, and I gave the rest of the list, and they're like, oh, they grab their kids and they go get in line. And one guy took a picture with him, and he was all excited about it and stuff, and went over to our Japanese speaker that was next to him, was like, who is that?
Yeah, because the Japanese, they just think, you're famous or something. They'll have to go take a picture with you, right? It's like he didn't know who the hell I was, but he wanted to get in that line, right?
Sure.
So,
I mean, you could have been the guy that played Thunderbolt Ross or something like that. He didn't know, right?
Really? You think?
Well,
so?
maybe. Yeah, a little bit.
I can't grow a mustache.
Missed opportunity by Disney.
Yeah. Hey, listen, there's one other piece of really good news that came out of the con as well. Because while CB was there and we got a chance to hang out, because they always put me and CB together, right? So Joey and CB are great friends. They've been friends for years, right? But I had OG with me, Genko Lee, my student.
Yeah.
Right? He got a chance to sit down and do a portfolio review, and he's going to get a tryout with Marvel.
Fantastic.
He got accepted. So you guys remember I told you guys you buy his stuff now because you're going to be paying out the nose later.
Yeah, I'm sending 2 pieces to Spencer today with Bob's stuff. So people get an eye out.
Like CB was really impressed with OG's work, man. So I can't tell you how proud I am of that. I was able to send him electronically. Joanne Kim, she couldn't be there because she teaches school, right? So, but I sent that along too. We'll see what happens with that as well. But
today I'm sending her Nightcrawler to CB directly, so because he wanted that.
So yeah, mission accomplished, man. I got 2 new artists off the ground, man.
Yeah, and
So
Joanne's drawing my comic right now, so that'll be her first comic.
Tell them about that,
So
Joey.
Yeah.
Something you've written?
No. I would let him.
Another thing I did this year at the New Year is I started a publishing arm of the Dyson Comics Cafe with a partner, and we're working on some American style comic productions for Korean companies like K-pop groups, actors, and some drama spinoffs, and things like that. So one of the actors, Yang Dong-gun, that's in Squid Game. We're doing a comic with him.
It's Korean language.
Impio's writing it, and Joanne's drawing it. And
so
that's exciting.
Joey's entering the fabulous world of publishing.
Ooh.
I am editor emeritus.
Yeah,
you're starting careers. Even now, you had a hand in a lot of people getting work, early on, but now even now.
No, I'm just saying,
Still doing
it's great. I can't be more proud of OG. He conducted himself really well too, and he speaks Japanese fluently. Is one of the reasons why we took him. Spencer made arrangements rather than me take my appearance fee to fly Joey, Cleo, and OG in. So that way I had the whole crew. Plus we had MPO came on his own, and a couple other drink and draw guys were there as well. So we had a full crew. It was really a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm very proud of OG, and I like I said, you guys are gonna be paying through the nose of this guy's stuff in about 2 years.
It sounds like you'd make a good rep, Bob. The way
I would, but that's Spencer's job. My thing is, look, I've trained guys like Sean Chen and Bernard Chang and Brett Breeding and Paul Ryan. I go down the list of guys who you guys all own art from probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like so with Joanne and OG, I'm like, they're just next in line, and that's what I'm getting accomplished here. This is why Korea is so much fun for me, because I'm taking these Korean artists and westernizing them, because they all want to work for Marvel or DC. They all have aspirations to do that. Who doesn't, right? Until they get there, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then their hopes are crushed.
They realize.
Right?
Yes.
By the way, I gotta say hi to Jason Spriggs because he's texting me here. He's watching the show. He keeps texting me. Yeah. Hi, Jason. How you doing, brother?
Are you watching the Pope
give Joe
behind
my
you,
love.
or is that a Porkgasm show? What's going on behind you?
Listen, Joey, can I tell him about Grannygasm? Because I gotta send
You
this.
can do whatever you want.
My
It's been a free
latest
country
thing.
for 6 months.
What's that?
So you can do whatever you want. It's been a free country here for 6 months.
For 6 months, yeah. There's a new commercial. It's selling granny panties. When it came out, I couldn't believe it. I just was laughing hysterically because, like, even one of them, Grandma actually pisses herself. It's like, I gotta send it to Casper so he can make a meme for us, okay? Because Grannygasm is almost as good as Porkgasm, man.
Yeah, that meme writes itself.
You should mash them up so they're eating first, and then they're
the grandma pisses herself and gets her new granny panties. Yeah,
Man,
Korean commercials are a blast, man. What can I tell you?
I want to go there just for the commercials. I think. I don't know.
Well, speaking of coming here, we had Agnes last night.
I was going to ask you, did you actually have the drink and draw? Because I saw you said that Agnes was going to be a guest.
We had a great crowd for drink and draw. I mean, Joanne wasn't there because Joey's got her home working like a slave.
I've got her art here. Let me see.
So yeah, he can show you some of the stuff. But yeah, Agnes had a real great time. She brought one of her friends with her, and we had a blast. Yeah, Veronica. She brought her friend Veronica, and
she was fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
There's what
the crowds drew. Now. Yeah, there's Agnes's piece. Yeah.
Oh, that's not too bad at all. Like exactly what I would expect from her.
Yeah.
Gankos.
Because it
was characters that are
intangible.
Yeah.
It was OGs, yeah.
And Impio drew Casper.
It's pretty good for a writer, you know.
Oh, and I don't have yours here, Bob. This is Jail. This is OG's friend.
Wow.
Mine's right here. I did the vision.
Here, I can switch over to Bob because he's got his in here. There we go. Yeah, vision's intangible.
Yeah.
Can't be tanged.
No, I just bring mine home to scan it, so that's why.
What else you got, Joey? Any more, or is that all of them?
There's some other stuff. Let's see. Got this. Got Iggy did Beetlejuice.
Iggy, yeah, he's a real talented guy. I'm working with him too.
Yeah, great guy too.
Yeah, great guy. So there are more talented kids in the offing. So once I get them trained, right now I got OG going through an inking experiment, something I do with all my students. Because one thing about guys who are just work on their own, right? Like OG or whatever like that, he's just used to inking his own stuff. So I blue line some pencils from like John Romita Jr. and from myself, and so we have people. And I'm gonna now the next exercise is for him to ink other people, to interpret, to see how much he actually knows about inking, and and so forth and so on. Because when you do your own stuff, it's entirely different. But you're not going to face challenges because you know what you drew, right? So
Of
having to
course.
interpret other people's stuff is a great tool to
Now,
learn. So
is he inking with a brush or
yeah,
a pen?
he's thinking with I taught him Crowquill. He's doing Crowquill.
Wow.
He loves the Crowquill, but and he's got a good line. You see from his art, he's got a good line. But part of that experiment is interpreting other people. I did it with Butch Guice, who we'll talk about in a minute.
I
When he
was going to
started,
mention Butch. Yeah,
yeah,
as a
when he
nice
first
segue
started,
there.
Butch was just a penciler, and I said, "Don't be a one-legged ballerina, man. You are the one of the most talented guys I've ever seen. But you got to develop both skills, And so, because in the end, he wound up inking himself on everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just that's the next phase. Once we get past the storytelling phase and all that kind of stuff, the next phase is developing them as an inker. So that's what we're doing right now. The other thing that we're working on is doing a special screening of Thunderbolts here in Korea. A special.
You're going to get to have your red carpet after all, aren't you?
Where we're working on. Joey's working on it now. Where we're going to talk to a theater and we're going to give away tickets to the first 250 people who show up at the shop. And then we're going to have a little night with Bob Layton and ghost posters and screening and all that kind of stuff. So we have to do it fast. But CB said the best way to do it is the third week when the sales start to drop. They're looking for some kind of promotion. So Joey and Cleo are trying to set that up now. So that'll be fun because I haven't seen the movie yet. It's I imagine some of you have, but everybody's saying it's like Marvel's back on track.
I have not seen it yet. I probably won't see it till the end of the month, but I want to, of course.
I should probably go see it before the screening, huh, Joey?
Yeah, I want to go see it with you. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
We haven't been to the theater for a while.
Yes. No, it's I
concrete
haven't gone to the
utopia.
theater in a long time. I just get my stuff bootleg off the internet, It's like because I didn't want to pay money. I mean, to see Captain America, for God's sake, it's like so yeah. So we go a bunch of great stuff. We made some great connections in Osaka too, with various people from other cons. So
I was gonna say, did some other shows talk to you about?
So we may be going to Okinawa. We may be going to Singapore. It's like we're still working on Kazakhstan. Apparently, Spencer's working on us going to. I don't know why I want to go to Kazakhstan because it's there.
Exactly.
But we got to keep those "Where in the World of Bob Layton" episodes coming, right?
I would need a map to figure out where in the world Kazakhstan is because I'm not even sure.
It's above.
But if they've got people who read comics there,
yeah.
then you'll be welcome.
Yeah, no, they the trouble is their internet's so poor. Spencer can't seem to be able to communicate with them really well. They've been going back and forth. It's kind of awful. But
Cup and string.
But again, if they're willing to fly Joey and Cleo and I in there, we'll go. What the hell?
Why not? It's a new
Where in
world
the
tour.
world is Bob Layton from Kazakhstan? Well, ought to be a hoot.
Hey, we're ready. We'll get you back on when you're doing those.
Yeah, so I'm good for the next 3 months. So now that I reset my visa, I don't have to leave until August 4th. So we'll plan the next trip. But we were talking about doing a USO appearance in Osaka, not in
Okinawa.
Yeah,
Well, it's been over
we
a
talked to
year
some
since you
guys
did
on the
one, right?
base there.
Mhm.
Because we did USO stuff here in Korea at Camp Humphreys and Osan. So anytime I can do something for the troops, I love doing that too. It's always fun. They're so grateful when we show up there. So that's probably going to be the next "Where in the World" from Okinawa.
That sounds
Hopefully.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So, I'm Joey. I think it's awesome that you're branching out into publishing and setting up. You're like an event organizer too. If you get this Thunderbolts thing to pulled off.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they'll pull it off.
Well, and we're trying to get a thing going into December too, and I'll have more info about that later once I've got a venue. One of my partners is talking to the local one of the local TV broadcasters that's doing a event with a lot of the Korean drama actors and things, and they wanted his help in branching that out and adding more stuff to it. So I'll see if we're seeing if we can get something like an artist alley added to it, since with our comics, some of those actors are developing comics with us. So
Well,
it could be a fun event.
you're also working on doing the exhibit for my 50th anniversary.
Yes, we're working on a Bob Layton 50-year anniversary art exhibition. And the thing, I'll be contacting some people later because I'd like to have some original art on display, but also if anyone wants to do any kind of a sketch to contribute to it, then we can add that to it, and then we'll auction all that stuff for charity at the end.
I've got a few ideas.
Yeah, I bet you do. Anything you can say on the air?
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
I wrote it down right here. I got an idea for 50th anniversary. That's fun. Well, when is it? Do you have like a date range in mind when this is going to happen?
Oh, it would be it's sometime this year. We were looking at doing something this summer, and we had a couple different galleries that were interested in it. So we have to pin that down, and then we'll get it going. And my friend that does exhibitions like that is really interested in helping out with it, and he'll be back in Korea this summer. So, and I went to one of his exhibits. He did a thing with the Swedish embassy here a couple of years ago, and it was the anniversary of Helvetica typeface, which sounds like a really boring exhibition, but he made it really cool. So I was invited to the opening day of it. So me and my wife were there. There's free food. We're like gobbling up all this free food, and there's like ambassadors and Swedish models and stuff there, and we kind of stood out like a sore thumb.
Wow.
Oh, you did. If you brought Bob with you, you would have fit in just fine. Nobody would have.
Oh yeah, we would have just blended in like
you know, it's like, it's like Helvetica gets its own exhibit. You know. Oh my God, no! But it's just Joey's planning because my 50th anniversary lasts the entire year, obviously until next April.
As long as it happens in 2025.
Yeah. So, by the way, if anybody out there knows how to get a hold of Darren Domina, I want to get a couple of scans of a couple of my covers that he has. He was at the show, but I don't have an email on him anymore. So, if somebody out there knows Darren, tell him to reach out to me because I want to get those two covers scanned so we can make reproductions for the art exhibit. Because he has the space armor cover, you know, and I think one that's the historical Iron Man cover. We definitely want that. So yeah, he has at least a couple that we probably want to make a reproduction for the show. Because I don't the originals. I know guys that have the originals. They're not going to leave it alone.
They're not going to send them overseas.
No,
and I don't think I would. I don't think I'd want to have them on load. It's a lot of responsibility for me.
If we could get some decent where we can make a really good reproduction and frame it or whatever, that'll be good. But Darren, I know, has a couple. So anybody out there knows how to get a hold of Darren?
I've got his contact info. I think Casper's got it too. One way or another, we can reach out to him.
Listen, before we go, I know we're running out of time already. I'd like to talk about Butch just for a second because now that I've gotten the tears out and everything like that, I was shocked to hear. Because, I talked to him just before OAX about him coming to OAX, and he did not tell me when we talked that he was sick, but apparently he had been ill for a while. My career with him goes all the way back to when he was working on the Micronauts. And he and I hooked up and we became instant friends, like Joey and I did. The second we met, we were buds, right? And I just wrote an epitaph for him for the Comics Journal. They asked me to write something. And it's basically about all the bad advice I gave him over the years. Because I'm the one that talked him into changing his name. Because his legal name was Jackson.
Right.
And I said, my God. I said, that sounds like an art book. The collected works of Jackson Guice, right? I said, why you go by Butch? I said, you should change your name now before people get used to it, right? Well, that was like one of the biggest blunders of his career because all he did was get letters. Are you guys related? Are Jackson and Butch related? I love that brother team that works at Marvel, the Butch and Jackson guys. or whatever. It was a huge disaster. So eventually he wound up changing his name back, and then I talked him about doing X Factor with me, right? And that turned to be one of the most political nightmares I've ever experienced in my life.
I've heard
that's what
stories.
Shooter bounced like a third of the book, and he and I had to do it in a hotel room down the street from Marvel during a hurricane, high on cocaine. We had 3 days to redraw a third of the book, man. So it's like one of the guys at Marvel gave us
You had your
blow.
dealer just standing outside the door.
Yeah.
Whenever you need another book.
I have to read that again with this information.
5 issues.
I hope there's nobody from the Korean government watching this show right now.
It was one of those Shooter things too. It's like he demanded these changes, and he fired Mike Carlin, and also because it was the most money Marvel had ever seen. It was 750,000 copies of a double-sized issue sold, and so everybody had.
Didn't you guys complete that? You completed the first issue, and I think the whole thing was redone, right? I mean, I feel like there was issues with different covers, because I remember. It was Mike Berkey had a bunch of.
No, X Factor didn't have variant covers. The cover alone was 7 versions were done.
That's what I mean. There were versions that were done. I'm sorry. Yeah,
they were rejected. 7
of them were originals are out for it.
Butch and I finally got to the point where we're like, fuck it, get somebody else to do it. So Walt Simonson did it, but Walt did it twice. There's actually 2 versions of Walt's, right? There was 6 covers by us and 2 by Walt.
I think there's an artist edition book that should be made just of the experience with that.
But because it was
interviews with it would be great.
He fired Mike Carlin over it, and the changes that he made didn't really change the story a whole hell of a lot. It was just Jim wanting it 5 degrees to the left or right, and then looking back in retrospect, I still have the original pages, home in storage. I mean, I have the original Xeroxes of the actual real book, but he called for all these things, and so we had to do it. They put us there 72 hours, and so we used every means, legal and illegal, to get that thing done on time. But
they didn't have Starbucks at every corner back then.
So it was a political nightmare because it wasn't the first X book not done by the X-Men editorial thing, and they bounced every plot I did. They bounced everything. I mean, they just constantly made it a life house. So 5 issues. And an annual later, I walked. I just said, fuck it. Anything's better than this, right? Because my first rule was always to have fun, right? And Butch hung in there for a few issues, but he left then too, So then I talked him. We got an offer to work on George Romero's film Copperhead. He was going to do a big sci-fi epic, and George wanted 48 pages of comic pages as the storyboards. He wanted it to be like a comic. So, and you guys will never see this stuff, but it's some of Butch's most beautiful work. So we worked on that for months. And of course, the movie never got made. Although I'm generally a guy with good advice, I never gave Butch any advice that really panned out really well. But he was still my buddy. He came over and worked with me in Valiant. It's like, he was really like one of the best guys you'll ever meet in your life. In this business, he was a gentleman. He was fun, easygoing, Southern boy. I loved him, man. He was my brother, and
he will be missed. I mean, we talked, about him a lot on the channel over the years. Just how I felt he was always getting better. His work just was sticking. He was a guy who was like. Was versatile at inking other people's work as he was penciling his.
I made him do that. Yeah,
now we know we can credit you for that.
Because he used to crash on my couch. No, he used to crash on my couch, and that's why I told him. I go, Butch, don't be a one-legged ballerina. You got to develop your inking skills too. You want to be able to do it all, right? So he took on some jobs. He inks me. He's one of the few guys who inked me on interiors as well. But we did the famous, Thor cover where Hercules is pushing Thor. Off the thing. He inked me on that. We did some solo Avengers together. And then he started inking John Buscema and a few other people like that. It was a really beautiful line. He developed a great line. And then when he went back to inking his own stuff, it was amazing. So, yeah. And like I said, I'm doing that with OG now. I'm doing inking, experiments with them. It's become a regular thing. because we want our artists to be complete. We don't want one-legged ballerinas. We want them to do the full dance. So, but anyway, all you guys out there, that are Butch Guice fans, I feel it, man. It's he was a great guy and will be missed. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to talk to him more before he passed away, but I had no idea he was sick. It was tough on Friday going through that show because, I was getting choked up and I just tried to swallow.
Well, you got the call when we were in the car on the way to the show.
Yeah.
So it was like,
I thought when Spencer called me, I thought he was joking at first. It's like he's 64 years old. Crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway,
there was a lot of art. You just there was a lot of art posted to CAF that Butch had drawn that people hadn't shown before. Marcus posted a really nice piece.
You know what?
So Bill, the thing was, there's his art. We'll always have his art.
Bill, as a tribute, I'll put up some Copperhead. I have some scans of it. I'll put some Copperhead storyboards up.
Cool.
For people to see.
I'd like to see that.
It's brilliant work. And the inking's okay, but it's like some of his design work is just phenomenal on it. It would have been a great movie. It would have been RoboCop before RoboCop.
Mm-hmm.
Had George been able to raise the money to do it, but 48 pages of that thing sitting around. No one's ever going to see it. I still have them. I have most of them in storage. So I asked Butch if he wanted them. He didn't want them. I guess
you want to remember it.
I'm amazed we were still friends. As I say, it's like I just
when he spent three days in a hotel room drawing comic books and snorting cocaine.
It's not like a great.
That's a bond that cannot be broken.
Yeah, no, I just I say it now just because it's like that's the lengths we had to go to sometimes. With the pressure they put on us, just to get the friggin' job done.
I think Jim Shooter, if has a tinge of guilt when he hears you say that. If he'll hear you say that.
No, he doesn't feel anything. I'm sorry. I don't mean to bring the show, this segment down note because just to remind everybody out there, I'll cheer you up next time I'm on with Granny Gasm. Okay.
That's right. We need some granny panties and.
Do you want footage? If we do the screening, do you want footage from that? Do you want to?
Of course.
Do Where in the World?
Absolutely, and I expect to see Joey. You got to have like some, your Gotcha Man comics, available there. You got to work that whole thing. Get one of those K-pop people to be at the screening as well. Make it a true event that the media cannot avoid. They have to come out.
Joey knows this. I have to prove. According to the lawyers we talked to, I have to prove that I am a famous person in Korea. It's not enough that my characters are famous. I have to prove that. So in order to do that, I have to do public stuff to get recognized as the guy who created all these characters for Marvel and the MCU, right? And it's like, again, it's not an ego thing. I want to stay here permanently. I hate leaving every 90 days. So if I can find somebody in government, I can get that celebrity visa, if they think I'm a national treasure or something, right? So, and God knows I am. Listen, America knows, right?
We do know.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's
we
all
treat
bullshit.
You like a treasure too. When you're at OAX, nothing but first class for you. You know that.
No, but I'm saying it's all bullshit. But it's the kind of game you got to play.
Of course.
So. And they love MCU here. They're nuts about it. So all I got to do is make that connection. So something like what Joey's doing with the gallery and with the screening will help me make that connection here in Korea.
Right. Just
and it doesn't hurt the shop either,
Right. You just need lots of photos and videos of you signing autographs and things with the fans. And how can and you've already got enough of that though.
Well, yeah. Let's face it. I'm turning 72 this year. It's like how many years do I got where I can leave every 90 days before it starts to hurt? Oh yeah. Besides that, I cracked a rib last week. I had a slip and fall out on the sidewalk over here, so I did the show on a cracked rib on top of it. So Joey's wife's going to take me to get X-rays tomorrow. it's not bad. I'm surviving, but I definitely broke something, But hey, the show must go on.
It must go on.
It
That's true.
must go on.
So,
Speaking of which, what's on the show today?
oh gosh, what do I got on here? I've got, we launched a new version of the app today. We've got Comic Art Live. The 11th Virtual Con is next weekend, so we've got a lot of things coming up for that. I don't have any other guests coming on per se, other than Chris
Well,
Snort, but
Joey and
other
I will just
things to
stay
talk
on.
about.
We'll just stay on with you the whole time. How's that?
Yeah.
Hey, it's good to have Joey back. He hasn't been on the show with me in so long, man.
Mm-hmm. No, it's well, but yeah, you got to film that. If you can get the screening together, obviously we want to see that. And yeah, I mean, if you shot some stuff with Agnes this or yesterday, I wouldn't,
And she's coming again on Sunday for a signing, so I can
Oh, well, there you
shoot
go.
some things with that too.
Yeah,
she's a sweetheart too. I mean, she really is. We love Agnes.
And I think I'm about due for another drink and draw art sale with the stuff's piling up, and I've just been too busy to get something going. And I got the recommendation to open a Comic Art Fans account and maybe sell some stuff on there too. So
there you go.
Maybe I can get
you
that
should.
put
I mean, well, Comic Art Live again. It's this the weekend of the 17th and 18th, so you're going to have 20,000 plus collectors on the site. So shoot me an email. I'll give you the scoop on how to do it.
All right, sounds good.
That's great. All right. Well, listen, we'll sign off here and watch the rest of the show with everybody else. All right.
Give me a clip of that granny panties. That's
number
one on your list right now.
I need Casper to turn it into a meme, but I have it on film. I'll send it to him. But it's the greatest ridiculous commercial I've ever seen in my life. It beats out Porkgasm. When Granny wets herself, it's just awesome.
It's hard to imagine. Okay. Gosh. All
I
right, guys.
love Korea, man. What can I tell you?
I can see why you don't want to leave.
It's never boring, man. Anyway, listen, everybody out there, we love you, man. Joey, I will see you Sunday. Gachi Bokum, right?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Nice seeing you again, Joey. Hope you're feeling better soon.
Yeah. Thanks, Bill. Nice to see you too.
All right. Bye,
guys.
everybody.
See ya. I miss those guys. Always fun. Well, maybe we'll have them on for a brief segment next week. We can see some of the footage with Agnes at the Drink and Draw and the signing she's doing at Joey's show or shop this weekend. But before I go on, my nephew is a new father today. I got a text from my mom earlier today, so I wanted to congratulate Natalie and Steven. They have a baby boy. They had a I guess it was born early. They forced it out of her. And rather large child. And what was the name? I had to write it down. James Ronald Cox. So there you go. Congrats to Stephen and Natalie. Stephen's our new accountant here at Collectors Network. He's a sharp kid. And my brother's son. I always have expected great things out of that guy. And now he's a father for the second time. So yeah, very good one. I know, James. I had a feeling if you were in the chat, you were going to be happy that they named him James. And I must be somebody on Natalie's side. I know Ronald was my father's name, so that's why you got that. But yeah, there we go. So 7 pounds 9 ounces. Yeah. But moving right along, lots of stuff to cover. So I would like to think probably everybody saw that the app was updated today. For those of you who aren't beta testers, and most of you aren't, I think we're well over 1,000 downloads so far. So I know that there's a lot of people who have been using the app. One of the coolest things that we have in this new version is, of course, the push notifications that were added. But I think a lot of people are going to be really happy that the calf mail was integrated into it. So if you didn't get any kind of alert through your iOS or your Android device, you can go back over to the App Store or to Google Play, and it should have an update option when you look up Comic Art Fans app in the store, and you can update your app that way. And if it's not showing you that like it should, you can always just delete the app and re-download it, and boom, you'll have version 2.0. And Robert Berman, yes, I knew you would notice that, Robert, that because you had mentioned it. So there you go. See, we do listen to some stuff around here. I don't need this anymore. It's a little hot. But Robert had mentioned that he wanted to have the italics in his art descriptions, and that was one of the tags that we were stripping out in V1. So we put italics back in there. So every time Robert uses them, you can see them in the app. So there's that. Those of you who use Androids will be happy. You can hit the back button now. Very useful feature. Honestly, I didn't get it until the more I beta tested off of this Pixel 2 that's like 8 years old that I was using as my Android. Yes, Joey, there is the update went to Android even before iOS, believe it or not. I think it happened last night. So but yeah, if your app store didn't alert you to it, you can always just delete the app and re-add it, and you'll be back in business with the V2. But the calf mail is gonna come in handy next weekend because, as everybody knows, with Comic Art Live, those emails go through the calf mail system, and so literally you can be, as a seller in particular, you can be anywhere you want. You're going to get push notifications on your emails when they come in, and you'll be able to respond to them on the go. So you don't even have to be in front of your computer once the show is started. You'll be able to communicate with buyers and work out deals wherever you're at. You can go out, at the grocery store, in the bathroom, doesn't matter. So that's good. But the push notifications are pretty awesome. We only are notifying you on two things for now. Right now, it's when you get a new email and if something is commented on in your calf gallery. But the cool thing is that it's the beginning of us being able to notify you on pretty much anything that has some form of alert. It could be things like people liking your art. I think more importantly, it would be things along the lines of being able to be notified when somebody whose gallery you're watching has added new art. We're going to probably granularize it so you can kind of pick and choose what notifications you want. And the big one, that we mentioned will be a part of V3 are push notifications on artwork that you're looking to buy. So things that are in the dealer for sale section, the classifieds, you'll be getting, you premium members will be getting those as it happens alerts through your phone, with push notifications that'll allow you to get out and buy artwork before anybody else. So it's going to be a very, very handy feature. But yeah, Joey, Android. I since I use Google Play as my platform to download the development versions, I don't get to really experience Google Play, as a normal user would. So, but I would assume that they would have given you a notice. But hey, if you downloaded it now, you'll be happy. But visually, there's not a lot of changes. We did add in a few bits and bobbles to make things a little bit more obvious. There's more buttons in there when a art description is trimmed, because we were always trimming long descriptions. You have to click on the description to expand it. So now it's really clear that there's more copy there when you don't see it initially. Yeah, the bug fixes were numerous across the board. Just small things. I see Stingray in there. Stingray, you should be able to update your profile now that we were able to kind of track down what we thought was your issue with with your avatar. And so you'll have to let me know if it works now or not after you get the V2 version. But give it a try, and you shouldn't have a problem any longer. But we're always looking at those things. We're notified whenever there's a crash or when there's a error, and it was just a matter of kind of looking at different things and prioritizing which things to fix. But yeah, there's at least 24 minor and major fixes. For when Andy wrote the code for the app, he didn't allow you to have an artist with only a first name, for instance. So Sowie's art couldn't get added. You'd have to put in something in her last name field, or it wouldn't allow you to save the artist. I didn't know it because every time I tested it, I always put in a first and last name. But yeah, so that was in there. That got pointed out to us by a couple of users. So that was corrected in V2. But again, lots of stuff that we didn't document it all. But end of the day, the good thing is when you run into an issue, there is a support link within the app. You can shoot us an email through the app, and honestly, that's kind of the best way to do it, because I was categorizing any support emails that came through the app, and there you go. Ta-da! Stingray was able to update his avatar. So yeah, minor stuff. You just never know what chain, what kind of combinations of things would prevent or cause an error. But at any rate, and we updated the app fact today with a really nice video that probably not a lot of people are going to end up getting to see, but I'll even throw it in the hotels and apps aid care. That's so true, Kezra. chat, I'll throw a link. This is we actually made a fact video, which turned out really well. Thank you, Casper, for bearing with me while we got all this done. It's got Gwen doing the voiceover on it, so everybody who's ever wanted to hear Gwen talk for 6 straight minutes, you can do that by watching the tutorial, the fact on how to use the app, and maybe you'll learn something when you watch it too. But it was we pulled it together in the last couple of days because Ashton and Gwen and got down here after they were traveling a bit on Monday, and we had a lot of the stuff started but not finished. So we went together and just cranked it out, and it came out really, really well. We're definitely going to be utilizing more facts and video tutorials for things in the future. We have one that we're working on right now for Comic Art Live, just to kind of cover all the basics on how to use the site. But what am I missing out on? What about direct booking? There's a lot of plans for the app, Marcus. I can tell you that pre-OAX stuff and just integrating the events in general into the app is on the roadmap for sure. But again, a lot of the beta testers said that once calf mail was integrated into the app, they pretty much could be utilizing they're doing their experience with calf through the app more than 50% of the time now, because the email was an incredible, everybody uses it for communication. Now you can do everything with regards to email through the app, and that's kind of a game changer. And I think everybody's going to enjoy the push notifications. I will tell you that throughout the beta testing, we've experienced sporadic perfection with the push notifications, and what we've come to find out is push notifications, as they're brought down to your phone, are really based on a lot of things related to your phone, both iOS and Android. And it's with regards to iOS, since I use that a lot, there's this thing called focus settings that can tell the phone to not check all the time, even when you've set them to be time sensitive. And we've found I won't say who it was, but one person in the beta test was like, I'm getting all my notifications late. Turned out they had put their phone on do not disturb. So settings matter, and because they're user preference settings within your phone, it's always going to be unique for each person who may end up getting a push notification late. For me, I'd say about 80% of my push notifications come in within a minute of an event happening, getting an email or having a comment left on my artworks. But I have seen, a lot of time, and I've seen it at odd times, like maybe when my phone is down at 20% and I'm charging it, the phone is the thing that has to go out and request, is there a notification for me, and get it. So it's literally all about training the phone to know that these are important. I mean, for whatever reason, whenever my kids send me a Snapchat, my phone knows it immediately. So I think there's just it's a learning thing, and it might have been a little bit to do with when we were in developer mode with both Android and iOS, that that was somewhat limiting. But I'd like to think once we have more people using it, the just by default, these things will eventually happen in more real time. But I can tell you, at night when I actually removed all my do not disturb stuff on my phone. Once the phone goes to sleep and it's after midnight, if somebody, and Marcos will comment on my artwork around 2 a.m. our time, the app somehow, at least my phone, decides to lump anything from like let's just say midnight to 7 or midnight to 5, and gives them all to me at one time. So like I'll have a 5 a.m. like 3 or 4 push notifications when I wake up and I look at the phone, boom, they're all there. Why? I don't know, but I think it knows that I'm not bothering to check my phone, so it decided not to send them to me while I was sleeping. I don't get it. But anyway, how to train your phone. Yeah, that would be a whole other tutorial that we probably don't want to get into. But all that was kind of leading to was that if you see that some notifications don't come in immediately, look at some of the settings related to your notifications and things like do not disturb modes and those sorts of things, because invariably the phone is working against you in some ways. But hey, we're gonna get through it. We're gonna learn a little bit now that we'll have over 1,000 people using it. And when it comes to V3, we know that the push notifications are absolutely critical, especially when it comes to finding artwork you want to buy. We want those push notifications going out immediately to the premium members and anybody using the app. So there you have it. Yeah, so good stuff all around. We're very happy about it. Can I get a notification for Bob Steeler? Well, we don't work with Bob Steeler, unfortunately, Marcus. But and his website is absolutely a bear to crawl. So I can't even say that we'll ever work with that site. You never know. They can't never say never. But that's where we're at now. But Bob posts stuff into his calf regularly, and tells you to go over to Spencer's website. So he's kind of working on his reps' behalf to make those things happen. But yeah, so go out there, get the app. What are you waiting for? If you haven't already gotten it, please download it now. We have, I think we're nearing 1,000 iOS users, and I know we're over I think we're probably over 400 Android users right now. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people are using it. And again, if I, I'm much happier with my email on here. And the cool thing is, and I always forget about this myself, is talk to text works great, and especially with email now integrated into the phone, it's pretty easy just say what you want to say, fix one or two words, and send that email along. And boy, that's going to save me some time. I can tell you that. Marcus, that whatever that emoji is you put in there, I can't even see what the heck that thing is. Oh, you meant, oh, I get it. I'm sorry, not that kind of dealer. I get it. I get it. That was a revelation. I did not know that about Bob, but or people in the comics industry in the 80s, that they were reliant on those sorts of drugs to get them through some trying situations. But anyways, we can move along from that. Comic Art Live, we mentioned that. We've got it was the 80s, Marcus. But I wasn't of age to be experimenting at that point with at least not with cocaine. So no, thank you, Chris. Uh Jumping in, yeah, nice to see you, Nick. We have Comic Art Live. Gosh, just a little over a week away. Next Friday, of course, we'll be doing the kickoff evening with Next Comic Art, and I hope we'll have a few other artists joining us as well for the mystery sketch event. Mystery sketch sales are going really, really well. I've got to roll out another wave of assignments tomorrow. I'd hope to get to them today, but there was things in my way. But I'm actually gonna, when I'm done with the show tonight, I'm gonna be breaking all the wave 3 assignments up and getting those prepped and ready to go in the morning. But we got a ton of orders in the last 10 days, and just a reminder, we have like 9 days left to put your orders in. So go to the site, check out the opportunities there. We have sketch cards now available, as well as the usual 9x12s. Yeah, I mean, I can't encourage you enough. It's one of the things that makes us all really proud here at CAF to be able to have an event like the Mystery Sketch that is so well supported, and supports the artists that we work with, and the reps and agents that are willing to kind of partake in it with us as well. We've got a lot of artists on their own this time that are working with us. We're in communication with a lot more. I heard from 2 artists who I didn't reach out to earlier enough, but who have committed to doing Mystery Sketch in November. And Chris, I think both of them, Chris Norrick, they were both on your list. So I heard back from them today. That's good. I mean, I actually think they were on Mikhail's list too, believe it or not. I mean, one of them crossed over both. But either way, we're looking to really continue to diversify the artists that we work with, continue to work with the ones that we already have, but bring in new ones too. So November is going to be great, but right now focus in on the May sketch event. So get your orders in, get them in soon. Don't wait till the last minute, and definitely tune into our show next Friday, when you'll get to see a lot of those pieces being done in person. Right? It's always good. Yeah, sweet. I'll let you guys. Yeah, well. I know, but you guys sent us a really great list a while back, and yeah, it's a little overdue to bring in some of those people, but we have but it's going to be fun. It's definitely going to be fun, and for us, the Mystery Sketch is an opportunity. I mean, I know we work with a lot of established artists, but there's always a few people who are a little more on the unknown side. And we've got some indie artists working with us this time. Chris Anderson joined. Jamie Jones just came on board as well. We know him from IC3, of course, and being a good friend of Sardo's. So yeah, we can do a lot more, but we've really I still haven't even ordered mine yet. I think we're switching to sketch cards this time around, and we'll probably end up ordering like 8 of them. So it's gonna be a good time for her. Ian Cinco too. That's right, Nick Forrest. Yes, caved and got 5 sketches. Well, that is what we like to hear, Nick. Um, but yeah. A reminder, premium members. If you haven't started your exhibitor booth setup, you really got to start thinking about that soon. Start scanning. You know the process takes a lot of time. Ask anybody who's set up in the past or done a dueling dealer show. You gotta go through a lot of portfolios, figure out what art you're ready to part with, or at least experiment with parting with, and consider parting with. So the show is yeah, you know how the drops work. You got to get your artwork posted for Saturday by Saturday at 10 a.m. and the Sunday art drop by Sunday at 10 a.m. But 48 artworks a lot. Anything you can do. It does fill a binder page, Chris. Thank you for that. Um, but yeah, I've got a mailing that's well, I sent a mailing out to all premium members yesterday as a reminder about all that. But yeah, don't wait till the last minute. I can tell you right now that there are over 100 and I think it's around 175 exhibitor booths already set up. We know that number is going to double by this time next week. Right now, I think there's over 1,000 pieces of art that have been added, but we know that number is going to reach 7,500 by the time the show's over. So it's that's right. Tom, Bob. He's reminding us all he's been clean and sober for 35 years, not ashamed of the past, but it's nothing to celebrate either. That is so true, Bob. And Bob, that you're holding your little mini me figure there. I did see that on on the shelf behind Joey. I had I didn't realize he got to keep that, or are there multiples of those? But either way, I did see that. Yeah, you don't pull any punches, Bob. You could do a tell-all book, and it would frighten the industry, I'm sure. But I, you know, I would you be able to find a publisher for something like that? Would be the real question. But other than that, but don't delay on all the Comic Art Lives related stuff. We really are expecting a really, really great turnout this time around. And I think, I mean, honestly, at 1,000 artworks right now, that's more than we would normally have more than a week out. So I think it's going to be hopefully that's reflective of a very strong show. I mean, it would be great to see over 8,000 pieces added for sale next weekend. So, and I can tell you that the panel schedule is fleshing itself out. We're not able to kind of show it to you right now, but certainly I think by early next week, we'll have everything scheduled, booked, and we can talk about it. I'll probably send out a mailing specific to the panels over the weekend so you can see what we've got planned, so you can kind of plan your weekend out around those as well. If you want to watch them live, it is up to you. But yeah, lots of stuff going on related to that. But all the programming's done. We had some enhancements to add to some of the galleries for Hall I in particular, and galleries for the booths in Hall I and a few other areas. So we've got all that work done, and we're moving on to other projects internally. But yeah, so we have that, and then of course OAX. Lots of good things happen around OAX that we can't talk about right now. But I did some recon at the hotel on Sunday, so there's some cool stuff going on over there that really gives us a lot of flexibility going into year 3. Kazra and I are more excited than I could probably relay. But we've got just great stuff that is in front of us, and the opportunities are kind of endless on approaches to stuff. So we're super excited, and yeah, the Zingers party. It could be there could be a Zingers party in their markets. If we had a Zingers party, would you show up? That's the question that everybody wants to know. But yeah, no, it's all falling into place with a lot of work and a lot of sweat from the team. I can tell you that. But yeah, so if you haven't bought your OAX tickets, I mean, everybody knows that we are having a preview day now. Friday is a full-on event day. We've got OAX related events, which of course includes the preview night, which is really more preview afternoon, 4 to 6. Then we're having a VIP reception. Only VIP ticket holders can get into the preview night and to the VIP reception as well. The reception is going to be more hors d'oeuvres and open bar. So but it'll end the date. Plenty of time to go out for dinner afterwards and enjoy the nightlife around Universal Studios. The road Marvel fan missing the Zingers. I get it. But yeah, so expect once we get Comic Art Live completed and wrapped up, there's going to be more and more announcements coming related to OAX. We've we've definitely got some things that we're going to probably be able to start talking about in the summer. Just good stuff. Open bar, yes, open bar. And there will be an open bar at the auction and fundraising event on Saturday as well. So there's two nights of open bars, just everything that some of you like to hear, except for Bob. He's more into porkasms these days and granny panties, but yeah. But the party begins on Thursday, and that is so true, Robert. That was kind of the, it's the unwritten sort of thought that we had, was that, we saw so many people arrive in Orlando on Thursday too. They made a Friday event on their own in many cases, right? Some people would go out to the parks on Friday or just do other things around town. And we really want to encourage everybody to come in on Thursday if at all possible, instead of coming in really early Friday. It'll just make Thursday night more enjoyable. Friday will be more casual. Preview night will be fun, and it'll make Saturday. There'll be a lot of excitement around Saturday at the beginning of the show, but there'll be a lot of stuff taken care of on Friday in advance of everything. Yeah, you guys. But there you have it. That's it with the events. Now, yeah, there was one bit of information that was passed along to me by Colin. I don't keep on top of comics news like I should, but he did let me know that there was a pretty important event that happened, an award that went out, a Pulitzer, to Tessa Hulls for her personal memoir, Feeding Ghosts. And as many of you probably know, Mouse won a Pulitzer as well, but it was kind of like a special award that was made that year. And that was, I can't remember what year that was, early 90s. Am I wrong? Somebody will let me know. But yeah, but Tessa's award was a legitimate one, and the committee that awarded her the Pulitzer just had really great things to say about how the illustrations really enhanced the storytelling. And so again, I think that's just pretty damn incredible that a narrative work of art has achieved that kind of level of recognition. And we're not going to see it on CNN or anywhere else, but I'm very happy that it was pointed out to me by Colin, and congrats to Tessa on that. I mean, I of course didn't read it, but I'm curious enough that I want to read it now. It's you gotta you gotta be you gotta be curious about stuff like that. What is what elevates a work like that to achieve an award in the same. Okay, 92. I thought it was early 90s. Thanks, guys. But yeah, and I can even throw a link. There was a Comics Beat article about it. I'll throw that in the chat here too if you want to read about it after the fact. But so there you go. So thank you, Colin. Colin every once in a while throws me something to talk about on the CAF update, and usually I forget. But I didn't want to miss that one. That one was too important for the hobby and the industry. All right, next up, what do I got here? Oh, I had, there was a show that was this last Sunday, and I didn't get sent any video for that, but that was the graphic show that Zadok had put on in New York, and I know that several of you probably attended it. And congrats to Zadok on putting together a show. I mean, any things that are out there that promote the business of OA collecting and selling is a great thing, and I encourage the more shows we can have, the better. We even have a show that's going on the weekend at Comic Art Live, right? It's all good. The more the better for all of us. But Anthony, he was set up, and Anthony never misses an opportunity to take a few pictures of his booth. So he did send me some photographs from graphics, and the only thing that I had a vision of what the venue looked like, because I remember the photos from last year and some of the video that I got. So it looks like I thought it was in the same building, but I guess maybe in a different exhibition space. So Anthony, you got Sharon, you got the bins of artwork that are not organized by artists; they are organized by title. You can see it right there. There's a Itoya with a Moon Knight on it, and a Marvel Miscellaneous Large, Jungle Marvel. So it's not just title, it's genre as well. You're right, NSN. The cover on that book by from Tessa is stunning. It really, I mean, it's haunting, but boy, I mean, it's eye catching. That's for sure. Where is the Kurt Swan shower curtain? I don't know. I don't know. But there's Jameson, and somebody's looking at his sketch cards. There is Rich Donnelly and Steve Donnelly hanging out, bagging artwork. Steve is on his phone, conducting business, and there's the post-it notes on all of the bagged artwork. Mr. Mark Schultz, right? And I think that's Joe Dragunis' table nearer us. I don't recognize who's in the back there. Oh, that's Douglas from Comic Link. And I can see Zadok in the background over there. And is that Bob McCann? Maybe. Kind of looks like his rear three-quarter profile. I'm not sure whose booth that is. Somebody's peering out like Kilroy from behind the artwork. That's a meme. There's a meme in there for that, right? Are there any prices? There is always prices on those artworks. The room at Graphics Con was really well laid out and spacious. That's good to know. And Bob McCann, yeah, that was you. Hey, and let's see. This is Scott Eater, of course. He always has interesting stuff, and I wish the photo was a little bit bigger. All these images I got from Anthony were all low res, so we don't get to zoom in and appreciate anything in high detail. There's Will and Glenn. Look at those guys. It's like that scene from Friday when they were sitting on the front porch and just hanging out, having a good time, smoking a blunt or whatever. But they look like they're having a good time right there, don't they? They definitely do. Man, wombats are it's amazing the longevity of wombats in our profession with dealers. They have stood the test of time. You can travel with them, and as frail as they look, they still manage to keep the art safe. I don't know how that's possible. Yeah, they are the deal makers. That is true, Marcus. I forget that name, but it is that is true. Let's see here. Artist who I'm not familiar with, Joe Rossetti. And let's see here. There's a dog hanging out behind them, looks like. Then what do we got over here? I'm not familiar with. Was that Devin? I can't tell. Might be. Who's Oh yeah, it definitely is Devin, because you can see the logo on the front of those banners. Let's just see. It's this low res photos from our friend Anthony. Metropolis in the background. That's the I forget the new guy's name at Comic Connect. He was on the last Comic Connect preview that we did with Micah. Then Gene Shiraka was set up with Spiderweb Art Gallery. Great to see Gene out. And that painting in the back, I'm assuming that's not a G Clay, but it might be. I swear, because at one of the IXs, it was around 2017, Greg was painting that recreation, and I swear it was like 3 by 4 foot. It was gigantic, and that doesn't but it's set far enough back. It could be the original, but that's nice to see. And then what do we got? Illustrated Word Gallery. More stuff over there. Looks like some Thorn related images there, and of course that's Zadok works with them. And Garcia Lopez was there. But there you go, Bashara. He's wheeling and dealing right there. Or he's even got a Schultz in the background. Look at that. And no New York show would be complete without Mr. Albert Moy. Look at that, and he's got the setup. How many tables or how many booths is that? I mean, we should count the tables too, for crying out loud. He's got like a 40-foot. It feels like 40 by 10 booth with 4 back wall spaces, and what we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got like 6, 8-foot tables here. That's the setup. And yeah, look at the smile on that guy's face. Nobody. He's like, I just sold some Jim Lee artwork. Right? I mean, hey, I'd be happy too if I was repping Jim Lee. There's Greg Goldstein, of course, and there's the Scott Eater booth behind them. And I'm not sure who's he in front of here. Somebody in the chat will tell me. That's a museum display. Heiser. Hydra, I still haven't figured out what Warlock 5 page is yours. I promise. I'm going to go through the entire book and figure it out this weekend. I, I will. And there's Zadok checking out some some very interesting art. Garbage Pail Kids are always fun, aren't they? I don't know who the artist is in the back there, though. But yep, Garbage Pail in the front. And there's Joe Dracunis. Nice stuff. I'm a big fan of Joe's work. Yep. And I think we end with Anthony there, looking at some artwork on his wall. No, that's not his art. That's 62 event auction. That's Comic Connect wall. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. That's the pictures from this week, or this past Sunday at Graphics. Yeah, it's I should just throw the logo up and then we'll all know what it looked like. Graded art. I don't think it's graded. Is it graded? No, that's not graded. That's just how they tag and bag their stuff. I mean, if you've ever bought anything from Comic Connect, those are the same tags that come with the art when you've won an auction. Patron of Art says, I was at Graphics Con. I enjoyed it, but I think there would have been more people if there was more promotions, tickets, pre-sales, people could visit. Not many people knew about the show. Yeah, I mean, we ran all the press releases that they had, and they had ads on CAF, and did what we could. I had Zadok on too as a kind of a pre-launch for him, but yeah, it's I know that I think they're actually next year going to have a website that they can actually use to promote the show, which would probably help them. I think they did everything through social media. I know that they relied heavily on their Instagram account to get the word out, and Colin did a very as good a job as he could with like repurposing the Instagram posts and sharing them as news items. But yeah, you got to start somewhere. At the end of the day, I mean, it is in New York, so it should be. Yeah, and it evolved from, I forget, it used to be called the New York Comic Art Expo, I think. Anyway, Johnny Makes Comics is here. Johnny Makes Comics, one of the more popular artists over at Next Comic Art these days. He's always posting some cool stuff on social media, as we all know, and he gets lots of likes and thumbs ups and comments on that art too. Maybe Johnny, do you have a CAF account? I don't even know. I don't think you have your own CAF gallery, but or hopefully I haven't just shamed myself by not knowing that you had a CAF gallery. Just keeping busy. That's always good to see and hear. Black Viper of Dorn says he's starting his booth while watching. That's but no, OBO, you cannot. The one requirement that we have with the show is that you put a price in. And so the price field is required to have a number in it. You cannot put make offer, entertaining, insane offers, those sort. You can't. It's got to be a number. So I think that's what lends itself to some of the people putting in really high numbers, and then some people getting upset that what he wants $50,000 for that $35,000 cover. That's outrageous. Well, because we force the sellers to put a figure on it, that that's what's going to happen, on some things that are harder to pry out of somebody's hands. We watched Jordan turn down a couple nice offers that came in on that one page because he wanted more, right? And whether the $95,000 price tag was right or not, I mean, it is what it is. But you have to have a price in. No, you can't skip out on putting a dollar value in there. Let's see. Patron of ours, I definitely uploaded my purchases to my CAF. It's planning to sell some art and grid. Exactly. That's what our twice annual show is all about. It gives you the opportunity to replenish the war chest a little bit, make some sales, and maybe pick up a thing or two. I mean, one of the things I think a lot of us end up doing is you'll sell a few pieces and you'll buy a few pieces. So it's the circle of our collecting lives. Number one Marvel fan, super stoked for CAFCon. It will be a very good weekend. I agree with you. So you know what? We might as well. Oh, and one thing I can mention this because it's not going to be written on the schedule. I was going to move to the schedule next, but we did start advertising the LA Comic Art Show that Bashara hosts, and the next one for that is Sunday, June 1st. And so those of you in LA, put that on your on your must attend list so that you can go out there and support the show. He's obviously, his shows are pretty well established, doing the LA show and the San Francisco show twice a year. I think he gets a few hundred people that go out to that, and he always has a couple of really nice artist guests as well. So if you're in the area, you should definitely attend that. Calf Live always has hidden gems, says James. That's very true, James. I picked up that Dave Cockrum 150 page that one time, thanks to that. And I got the Daniel Klaus 8-Ball page from Comic Art Live as well. You just never know what you're going to find. Remember, I was the first person to buy a piece of Mannix artwork in the United States, thanks to Comic Art Live. Because of the first time Jiggy exhibited. So you just never know what you're going to find. And I can tell you that a lot of because of IC3, we have a lot of indie artists who are going to be set up in Hall I this time around, and we'll be. I know there's going to be some advanced previews that are going to get posted. I did get a little video clip from Chuck Arnold that I don't have to show tonight. I'll probably preview that next Thursday. But there's there's going to be a lot of diverse art, and some, I think there's going to be a lot of creators that if you didn't get to go to IC3, you're going to be able to see some artists that you might be interested in commissioning, because I'm sure a lot of them are going to be taking commissions over the weekend. And if you saw the pre IC3 prices on stuff and the work that came back, I mean, you saw the some of the pieces that I picked up, that Casper picked up for me at IC3. There's great artwork and great value in a lot of that. I am flexing. Thank you, Stingray. It will be worth your time, and Newell knows that for sure, because he was at IC3, and it's going to be good. And I think you're going to continue to see more of that as we have more and more artists, both independent and working professionally these days, with booths set up at the show. Mike McCone is setting up for the first time for Comic Art Live next weekend. So I'm excited to have Mike participate. He was at OAX, and now he's going to be setting up at Comic Art Live. I mean, what more? This is exactly. It's taken us 11 shows to kind of get some traction here, but everybody's working really hard. At CAF HQ in all of our disparate offices, pulling this stuff together, and the effort is really finally showing. Let's see. Bob says he just created a Copperhead film storyboard in a tribute page for Butch. That's awesome. And patron of Digging the New CAF app. Thank you. Yeah, spread the word. The one thing we don't stress it enough. I mean, but when you guys are out and you have the app on your phone, the one thing that I always expected everyone to do was that because you want to show off your collection, open up the app and just click on your avatar in the header and load up your CAF gallery and show people how easy it is to browse your CAF gallery. That's going to get them turned on to the app, and the more people we can get utilizing the app, the happier I think everyone will be. And because today I know everybody opens it up, they open up their Photos app and they start showing their collection pieces that way. Now you can just dive right into your gallery, order it by most comments, pull up your favorite stuff. People need to see that, and they need to see how easy it is to do that. So when you're out, I mean, at Heroes, trust me, Kazra and I are going to have phones at the ready to show off the app. When we're in San Diego, same thing. We want everybody to get excited about it. It's been out there since since right around Christmas time, right? But it's nice to have 1,400 people using it, but we want to see the majority of our regular users, utilizing the app and getting it up to like 10,000-15,000 users before the end of the year. That would be really a wonderful thing that would make the year-end party at CAF HQ all the more merry. I think. So now I can show the schedule, because there's a couple new things on here. I think we've got a show on Saturday with Matt DiTullio, his third Collector's Cash show at 2 p.m. He'll have both of the Simones with him, talking about what do artists collect, in terms of OA, what kind of things do the Simones like to collect. And I think I've got to see a preview of the pieces that they have for that today. And it's going to be cool. I think you're going to enjoy watching that. And if you don't get to see it live, definitely watch it on the rewind. But that will be at 2 o'clock on Saturday. I did get confirmation. I was always told I was going to be doing a preview for Heritage. I hadn't gotten the scoop on what they wanted to preview and you look at Heritage's calendar, there's just so many darn things. Well, I did get word yesterday that the Miami Steve, the Lakeview collection on CAF, has a few auctions that are coming up. Uh, Specific to him and under his band's name Dead Code, but we're going to be looking at a lot of card art that is in this upcoming Dead Code auction. The auction ends the last 2 days in May, I believe the 30th and 31st. So I've got two new people from Heritage that are going to be joining me that I've never met before, so that will be doing the preview with me. So we'll be doing that on Monday at 9 o'clock. Then on Tuesday, a recorded show with Mr. DeTulio and Otis. They're going to be doing a how to calf. It's going to just be kind of an overview on how to add art to your calf gallery. Otis is, I think Otis has a few things in his calf, but he's going to go through and just post some art. He's going to post art to his Comic Art Live booth. And while it'll be a recorded show, it should be very informative, especially to those of you who aren't familiar with some of the premium features and why we have so many premium members on CAF, the advantages of that. They're going to review all of that and even walk you through setting up your keywords for your want list, so you understand how to get the most out of CAF in terms of finding artwork you want to buy. Then that evening on Tuesday, the 13th, I'll have Chuck Costas on. We'll be talking about a little bit about the ZEC exhibit, but I think more will be focused in on his experience with the California fires, his art loss, numerous pieces of art lost in those fires, and his experience with insuring his collection prior to the tragedy, but also, the whole process of going through claims and how that all worked, because I'm curious too, right? How do you value a piece? Do you have to get third party people to do those sorts of things? Do the insurance companies provide that? I have no idea. So I'm going to learn a lot as well. I do use collectibles insurance, but I only use them for shipping artwork, and they have in their clause with me, and I did take it on when we were when we had Brian Hitch have some of his art sent here, so that it does cover some of the artwork here. So we have like a joint policy for storage plus, but it's primarily for shipping. But there's so much more that you can get into it, than just these minor things like what we have through collectibles insurance. And I know that that's who Chuck works with. So again, we're going to learn a little bit about that business and the insurance side of stuff. I'm looking forward to, we have Comic Art Live, but right after that, the day after it's over, I'm going to have Michael Finn, Sarah Frazetta, and Mark Schultz on. And we're going to be talking about the new book that Michael has been slaving over for about 3 or 4 years. And I had a nice talk with Mike yesterday. He is going to try to get me an advance copy by the time of the show. It'll be more of a proof copy, but it will be complete, and he wants it to be here so we could show it. I think Michael's going to get a copy, as will Sarah. So it'll be kind of fun to get to see that book prior to it being made available to everybody. But then special note on here. Look, on June 3rd, #1 Marvel fan, our friend Tom, he's going to be joining me for the 300th episode of our interview shows. So that will be one for the record books, as all of you know. I mean, Tom's awesome. I mean, in many ways, he's been at OEX for the last 2 years. Yeah, he's been great to get to know, and he's been in our chats for a long time. He's gone back and literally watched every single video that we've produced on the CAF Plus channel over 5 years, and he's commented on most of them. So I really appreciate the enthusiasm that Tom has had. He's bought a lot of artwork on our shows, and he's got it's going to be an interesting story. We might be able to get a little Cribs video in, as part of that. If you follow Tom on socials, he's a bit of a prop collector as well, with the Marvel movies and a few others. Finally Tom. That's a hashtag right there, Kazra. So I'm looking forward to it. Everybody here at CAF HQ is looking forward to getting Tom on, and again, it's going to be a blast. And I couldn't think of a more fun guest to have for my 300th episode here, interviewing somebody, than to have it be Tom. So this is going to be great. And we'll be talking props. It's going to be it'll be a conversation for the ages. So yeah, look forward to that. And then just a few other sales shows that are coming up. I can tell you that I spoke with Mike. Well, I didn't speak with him. We emailed earlier today, Micah and I. He's going to be doing a auction preview with me on the 9th of June. And they assured me that even though they are going to be in Como next weekend, that he and Vincent are setting up a booth with art for sale in for Comic Art Live as well. So I'll be curious to see what they post there. But I did tell him, I emailed him back and I said, you better have the app on your phone while you're at Como, because you're going to be able to be interacting with anybody sending you inquiries. So I hope everybody at Como is using the CAF app. That would be a wonderful thing. So then after that, we got Kevin Nolan. He'll be doing a sales show with me, and then I will have Frank Frazetta Jr. On doing a different Frazetta book that I actually got in the mail. A set of those books. I guess they're doing like a 4-issue or box series of Frazetta books, and this first set is just called Terror. So it's a lot of horror related work that Frank worked on, and I think it's put into 3 different books that are in there. I'm not going to open it. I'm going to wait till it gets a little closer to the show, but I'm certain that we will be doing a giveaway with those during that show, and so somebody's going to get really happy to win a set of Frazetta Terror books, right? It should be interesting. So that's my schedule. That's my schedule in a nutshell. We got it all through there. But now and it is getting late. We're already an hour and a half. I have a flip for everybody. Sideshow Bob, and I saw Bob in the chat earlier. He kind of reached out to me about working with Fred Hembeck on doing a series of sketch cards, and that was I think it was at the Hembeck show prior. So this was probably right around December, maybe even November. I don't know. It's been a while. So Bob's been working on this set direct with Fred, and I think just recently Bob got the final batch of cards in to complete this set, and it was like the right thing to do. Let's commemorate this set completion with Mr. Hembeck, and no, that's not what's going on, Marcus. And so Bob put together a flip. So let's take a look at the flip, and when we're back, we'll get into this CAF update. Let me see here. Where is that flip? I got it loaded. There it is. Cool. How could I miss it? All these little figures right in front of me.
Hey, Bill. As you know, I've been working on a private project with Fred Hembeck to assemble trading cards of all of the most prominent and not so prominent villains in the Batman Rogues Gallery. It's going to cover, I believe, almost everyone, except I might have missed a few of the more recent guys. But let's get started. I'll try to read through them as quick as I can. On this page, Ra's al Ghul, the Joker, Harley in her Suicide Squad outfit, Riddler, Two-Face, Catwoman, Penguin, KG Beast, Poison Ivy, Bane, Scarecrow, Mr. Freeze, Hush, Clayface, Talia al Ghul, Deadshot, Mad Hatter, Killer Croc, Black Spider, Man-Bat, Calendar Man. This is the Tim Sale version of Calendar Man. Hugo Strange, the Spook, Kite Man, hell yeah, Nocturna, carrying on here, we got Captain Boomerang, Bronze Tiger, Killer Moth, Catman, Gentleman Ghost, Solomon Grundy, was born on a Monday, the Squid, Firefly, Captain Blimp. I encourage you not to read that story. It's terrible. Moving on. You've got Calendar Man in his Spring Flowers costume, Captain Stingery, Crazy Quilt, Blockbuster, Taskmaster, Signalman, the Enchantress, Cavalier, the Outsider, and then Black Mask, the Mutant Leader, You Don't Shiv, Batman Who Laughs, the Ventriloquist and Scarface, Mr. Bloom, who was a more recent villain, Mr. Zazaz, the Reaper, Talon, Red Hood, And then lastly, Savage Skull, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, Dr. Phosphorus, Copperhead, Chemo. He fought against him with the Metal Men in some of the Brave and the Bolds. Magpie, Spectre, who's kind of a sometimes villain, sometimes not villain, but just, up there, and I like him. Spellbinder, and then lastly, Mirror Master, who's a early one that Fred knew from the early 30s, from Early Detective. And that's it. I'll just throw in 2 more pages just for fun. You've got a collection of the Endless and a couple of the more peripheral characters from the Sandman universe. And then lastly, the Metal Men, and Dr. Magnus and his creations. That's it. Hope you enjoyed.
There you go. Well done. Definitely. Thank you, Bob. And remember, everybody, anybody can do a flip. You don't even have to be on camera. So you're just like recording what you're flipping. Just they're fun. Everybody can do one. It's a good thing. And if you would like to do one, you just got to email me, bill@comiccardfans.com. I'll set up a Google Drive for you. I can upload everything. I'll put it together and play it, and you will be immortalized on the CAF Plus channel. So don't be shy. I still have to do one for my X-Men book. I stopped posting the rest of my X-Men art that I deleted, off of CAF a while back, because I've promised myself I'm going to do a flip for it before I finish posting any of the rest of that stuff. So I'm going to do one. I encourage everybody else to do one. Marcus, you could do one. I mean, Marcus has artwork that nobody knows about. I thought that piece that Marcus posted that Butch Guice did was really awesome. Just great to see stuff like that. Again, CAF was built for with the idea that that there's so much great artwork out there that most people wouldn't take the time to show, especially if it's a convention sketch or something like that. And the piece that Marcus shared was fun, and and all Guice. I mean, it was just wonderful to see. So we know that Marcus could do one too. Yeah, he could. Marcus, you should. We'd love it if you would. You know that. Just putting that out there. But I see Mr. Snork is in the green room. He is ready and raring to go. Let me bring him in here. Hey, Chris.
Raring to go.
What shirt are you wearing?
Oh, I'm promoting the brand, Bill.
That's such a good shirt. I love that thing, man. That is great. That is great. But have you walked down the street and anybody say, "Is that you?"
I've only worn it out in public once. So the short answer is no.
Okay.
But
all right.
I've
happen.
Basically every person I know that I'm on a t-shirt. So
yeah. Well, hey, before we go further, I got this thing in the mail. I haven't opened.
Oh, you haven't opened it?
No,
Oh,
I didn't. I was gonna open it on the show. Why? I mean, if it's why should I not?
Oh, it's only embarrassing if you feel bad about your drawing skill. If I feel bad about my drawing skill, and 5 minutes on a sketch card isn't going to hurt my ego.
Exactly. And so yes, I got a nice thank you card from you, and in it was we had these sleeves for OAX. This the last show that we gave to everybody. We put like 2 sketch cards in there as well. So it was just kind of a good way to keep them safe, while we were transporting them all over the place before we handed them out. So
they're nice.
Yeah, they are. I had never seen them before. Tatiana was the one who brought these up. She said she's used them a few different times. Oh, look at that. Oh, okay, full screen. Then we can see this. There we go. It is Thor. I don't know if I can hold it any closer, but and signed, Chris. Thank you. I was gonna make you did sign it, and it's a 1 of 1.
1 of 1.
So that is so rare. Well, I get to add this
more.
to my sketch card collection now. I need a binder like Bob had. I have yet to do that.
Mystery sketches, because you can get a binder page.
Exactly. Well, you got a nice work, Chris, from CJ, whom I have to mail sketch cards to. CJ, I do apologize. It's been kind of a hectic week around here, but all good stuff. Let me see. Patron of Art was saying, what? I thought you had to be chosen. No, Patron of Art. Trust me, it's an open invitation. Please, anybody who watches, the show, who has a calf gallery, even if you don't have a calf gallery, if you have some artwork that you'd like to share and talk about, flips are perfect, right? I mean, not everybody wants to do an interview live on camera, but you can talk about your collection. Some people, I think James did 1.5 portfolios one time when he did a flip. So yeah, it gives you an opportunity to even think about the artwork that you have in it. Maybe you kind of curate the portfolio, and I would have to believe that a lot of the guys do when they put these together. They rethink what's in the portfolio, and then that's what they record and send in. The only thing to remember is record those things horizontally. That's the shape of your portfolio when it's open, and that's the shape of this screen around us right now. So Snork Pencil Synod Inks. Hey, there we go. And Chris, I have to tell you, I was grilling you about cigars, and I ended up chickening out because I went into town. I was thinking I could probably pick something up and like hang outside the hotel with but I drove down with my daughter, be hanging out at the pool or whatever, and I was just like, I can't do it. I can't. So it's not that, but now I have all the knowledge and wisdom.
You've got some details.
Exactly. So, but yeah, before you asked, I had to let you down, and but I did drink the peanut butter porter and the cash and checks.
Okay.
They were both great. I actually the cash and if cash and checks was around here, I would probably, that'd be my like every other beer. It was nice, dark. Yeah, it just was awesome. And
dark lagers are like on trend right now or something. They're everywhere. So
yeah, and again, down here in Florida, I've shown you photographs of the beer coolers around here. If Stella and Bud Light, they'll have like a whole wall of Stella and Bud Light, and you can't find anything. Yeah, it's either that or IPAs. If I wanted an IPA, I could pretty much get anything I want. I don't know what it is, but anything beyond that, they don't got.
Huh?
Bill,
you have a Total Wine, don't you?
Yeah.
That's the spot.
Yeah. What do we got here? James Siegel says portfolio organization day is almost as fun as New Art Day. I dread portfolio organization day. It's definitely no fun because I've decided that I have to make a Thor folder by iToyo Portfolio now, right? Because I have so much Thor art, just convention sketches and you name it, and they're scattered in about 5 or 6 miscellaneous folders now. So the idea of like pulling all those Thor ones out, redoing the rest of the miscellaneous to try to find a uniformity in those to get one or maybe 2 Thor portfolios, I'm dreading it. So I want to do it though. I have to.
Yeah, I was gonna do it in advance of Comic Art Live because I knew there was a piece I wanted to sell, and I found the piece right away in like the first binder I pulled out, and I was like, I'm not doing that. I found what I was looking for.
Right. Well, you know what? When I was looking through stuff about 6 weeks ago, I had the thought I need a Thor portfolio, and I looked at one of them, and I'm like, I only had like pieces in the first 5 slots in the portfolio, so I started working from the back. But even then, I got to like 12, and I'm like, this is a lot of work. so I have so I've got a gap in this one miscellaneous portfolio with 5, I don't know what's in the front, and then like 12 Thors in the back, and 12, 20 empty sleeves in between.
That's a good plan, except for the fact that like I have so much random sized stuff that, I mean, everything down from like sketch cards and backing boards all the way up to twice ups and European paper sizes and stuff like that.
That is a problem.
Yeah,
especially if like for me, like you with thing art as well, but like for Thor pieces, I have so many sketches, and then I have published pages. They just don't, the smaller pieces, you hate putting them in an 11 by 19 iToya when it's a 9 by 12 piece of art,
right?
Or 8 by 10 or something. And I have a lot of mix of both, and it is the challenges we have in this hobby.
I mean,
what are you gonna do? But yeah, so Kazra says there is a good beer place in Sanford. You'll have to tell me the name of that one, Kazra, because I have not been to it.
Get there.
I would be happy. I would make the trip because it is not that far away. So okay, well, thank you for the Thor sketch. I do appreciate that. I'm gonna have to get a binder with that so I can put the smaller sketch cards in now because I got at least like 16 or 17 of them now. So I think it's time. Oh man. All right. Well, let's well there Kaz was putting a link in the chat.
And they have great Indian food. That's hard to beat. You know what's great with Indian food?
No,
IPAs.
IPA. Of course. I'm the one
They are.
IPA man. I can't that's it. I'm a waste for the whole morning. I mean, no I could take 4 ibuprofen in the morning and it still won't make me feel good.
No, the key, Bill, is you take them when you start drinking.
You know, I trust you, Chris.
Don't listen to me. What do I
I'm
know?
gonna buy okay, after Comic Art Live is over, I will buy a 6 of IPA. I'll even take on recommendation from you, and I'll drink 2 one
Mhm.
evening after I've taken 2 ibuprofen in advance. And if I wake up fine the next day,
Well,
I all right, we're gonna find out. It's a challenge. So anyways, all right, cool. Let's look at some heritage stuff.
Yeah.
And, heritage. Well, there was actually good stuff throughout heritage today, and it was like an embarrassment of Bachalo artwork. There was like 3 Doctor Strange pieces that were all fantastic. I mean, everything I went through was good. There was just really good stuff. So let's see. I got to share the right screen here. I have way too many windows open again. Doggone it. Let me find the right one. Oh, there it is. Okay. Let's see. We can start from the front. There's just some fun stuff in there. This is a JLA Adam Hughes Rubenstein inked piece. What year was it? 1989. I
That's
don't know. I just see you see early stuff from Adam. I mean, I want to get a Penthouse Comics page myself, but there's enough people out there who appreciate his early DC work, and I thought this was a good page.
really nice. You see the Rubenstein inks for sure.
Oh yeah, without question. But all the mannerisms and characteristics of the female figures that we would like. Then this was just a really great one. I try to avoid a lot of the Tom Palmer stuff, and same thing with Al Milgram. But how do you avoid a John Byrne, Tom Palmer X-Men Hidden Years page that has Magneto and Submariner on it like that in that first panel, and it's a title page. I didn't even realize that. I couldn't stop looking at the just the overall panel. I didn't even notice that. This is a great page. Yeah, I've always wanted a Hidden Years page, and I've never found the right one. And this one, of course, has no X-Men on it, but
Right.
this would
Well,
be a good one.
technically,
Wait, is the professor's in there?
And Magneto.
Yeah, Magneto. Well, yeah, okay, but he's no
I mean,
one on the
that's
team. Though.
Some
But
people might even argue he's a better leader than Cyclops. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, I know there's some people in the chat that might feel that way, but yeah, I thought this was awesome. I love this, and yeah, I would be happy to have this one in my collection. Then this one, this one I was actually thinking I'm gonna throw a bid on it, and I'm not gonna tell anybody about it. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, well, A, I don't have a lot of money right now, and B, whatever this thing ends up at, I probably couldn't afford. And I already have a nice Dave Cockrum piece, but Dave did a lot of recreations from his X-Men runs on covers. Some were pencil only, a lot of there, who knows, there may be 5 or 6 of this particular cover out there, but again, you're not getting any more, right? And I think it's just cool that they are out there. It's a lot like Trimpe and his Hulk covers that he recreated. Same thing. And so yeah, I mean, it's already at that. It was only at $100 when I loaded up these tabs earlier today, so it's at 1,000 now. And again, I think a lot of people would be happy to put a piece like this in their collection.
Marcus says this is the best one.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, and some of them were done, after Dave was in best of health, and yeah, this is clean. I mean, it doesn't have his line quality definitely deteriorated a bit, but this one was clearly done early enough that he's still very sharp on this one. then what was that? Oh, that's right, a Geist page. I mean, it was hard not to pick Geist stuff this week, even in the calf picks. But this was a nice Avengers Annual 12 page, and I was going to point out to Tulio, there's a good Black Bolt in a few of these panels, but
There is, yeah.
look at that. This is great. Rick Magyar inks on this thing are really nice, and I mean, look at that. You get a lot of Inhumans, you get a lot of Avengers.
Shot at the bottom. That's a great page.
It really is. And where's that at? It's only at 125. So, I mean, it's not going to end there, but it is a really great example page.
Gorgon is like the size of the Hulk.
Yeah, I know.
He's big.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't even realize, I didn't see Lockjaw when I was looking at that.
Lockjaw, hell yeah.
Yeah, this is a good one. Very, very good one. And then I did pick one of the Bachala pages. But again, I think there's at least two others. I didn't have time to go through all. I think it was 300 auction. There are lots that they had, but I just like this page a lot. And it's just that first splash page in his study. The books are drawn really well. Pensive Doctor Strange, and you get his, just the shelf behind him. It's just a great page. And honestly, the other two pieces that I did see were probably as good, maybe even better than this one. One was like a battle page, but they were all really good. So if you're a fan of Chris's work, and especially the Doctor Strange stuff, you should check out what Heritage has. This was I didn't realize this was in 2017, Javier Fernandez, a Nightwing cover. I didn't want to avoid, I wanted to show a few pieces by DC. So I like this. It's funny, when I saw this, I was reminded of like some of the DeMio layouts that we've seen on some of his covers, where he does that same kind of a circular effect and showing different characters or different scenes within them. And I know it's something that's very common, but we've been seeing DeMio do it really strong. And then I see this piece, and I thought, oh, this is kind of cool. I mean, there's some reference there.
Really nice line quality on the cameos.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. And so this was, again, Javier Fernandez Nightwing 20 cover. It's for sale again. You just sold it last year. Well, it's on the market again, Jason. Jason, who has not been interviewed, only because he works Tuesdays, but has sent a couple of weekly flips in. See, so it can work, everybody. But yeah, okay. So it's been on the market before. Hey, a lot of stuff has come around in many times. So this is Craig Hamilton. This is from a Versus trading card set. Dr. Fate. I just thought it was fun. It's Escher obviously inspired. You get Zatanna in there as well, and I mean, I just think it's cool. I always like Craig Hamilton stuff. I like the fact that he did do a lot of work in colored pencil, and it's just his style. And so this is unmistakably, a work by him. You get the Escher reference too, and if you're into trading card art,
I played that game way back when, and I've been meaning to like pick up a piece of art from it just to kind of commemorate that era. But the stuff I've seen has been like box art. So like they went great guns on the art for those boxes. I mean, it was like Alex Ross, Mike Mignola, Andrew Robinson. I mean, like really high profile painters and artists and stuff. And the Alex Ross box art was at Heritage maybe 6 months ago, and it went for what it should go for, which is way out of my price range. So something like this would be great. Phantom Stranger in there.
Yeah, I didn't see him before, but
is that Inza in the bottom sitting in the... Yep. Cool. That's a great piece.
Definitely. I added it to my watch list. And then this is a 5-page story. Dick Ayers, Gunsmoke Western 46. Never, of course, heard of that title. I just this initial splash page I thought was just really well done. It just, people always, we've talked about certain artists who are better at romance, better at Western. And I know that there's collectors out there who like Ayers, Marvel, more, mainstream title work, but there's a lot of people who don't like Dick Ayers' work on Avengers or whatnot. But boy, he could draw a really great Western scene. And I just thought I didn't even look at what the other 4 pages look like. I just thought that this was just great. I mean, it's focusing on his gun belt.
Mhm.
And the guy in the back, I don't know who the bad guy or good guy is, whatever, because the guy looks like a ruffian in that inset panel. But either way, I liked it a lot, and it just reminds me that some artists definitely have um, are better at certain styles or genres
Activities.
than
Yeah.
others. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a Stan Lee signature in that. I didn't even see that when I was looking at it earlier. Right there. Look
Oh,
at that.
wow. What is it? The man who outsmarted Earp.
Earp,
Oh,
the man who outsmarted Earp. Yeah, yes. See there. Yeah, there's. Well, here I'll have to look at the other pages now just to see. Not. It is what it is. It's what you would expect from that era. Yeah, it's fine. Dick Ayers was a fine artist. The
Mhm.
inking on it's sweet, says number one Marvel fan. And Heiser says that Ayers did a great job on Jonah X.
He did.
Would you agree with that, Chris?
I concur. Yep.
Good. This is from 2004. Juan Jose Rip, uh, their RoboCop 5 variant. I just, I think we've looked at some pieces by Juan in the past. I just love all of the detail packed into this, and I love the metallic, the ink work on here. I mean, all of those, like the way he's handling just the circle, the loose circles on there as a reflection in that. And then I don't know what's breaking here, glass of some kind, but he's in front of
TV
all these TVs. Yep.
Yeah.
I just thought this was really, really awesome. I mean, I don't know
Hyper
how many people.
detailed. Wow.
Right, exactly. And there's probably some RoboCop fans that are out there, but my guess is, it's not a title that a lot of collectors are looking for. But if you like highly detailed artwork, yeah, this is great. This is really nice. And I don't know what I picked last. Oh, that's right. It was this Al Milgram. I did end up picking it because I thought this was a good piece. And again, there's a lot of great stuff in there. But for those of you who like Valkyrie,
Yeah.
I just thought this was a really nice page. It was from another one from Avengers Annual, as it turns out, Avengers Annual 11. But really great splash page, and
Wow. Yeah.
Milgram.
If you're a Valkyrie fan, holy crap.
Right.
That's it.
Yep. No, I mean that's a great one. Shoot. And only at $30 right now. So I was actually at Epic Universe this weekend, and one of I didn't the rides were okay, but their shows were phenomenal. I went
Mhm.
to see How to Train Your Dragon, and I'm reminded of that when I see this image, and what I'm reminded of is the fact that they're showing a sky, and then she comes through the clouds, because they had this one part of the scene where you hadn't seen a dragon or anything like that, and
Mhm.
it's early though, but they had all this it was like fire and smoke, so they had a lot of like the smoke, steam was coming down from above you, and they literally lowered the dragon from the ceiling above the crowd. They
Oh,
had
cool.
Yeah, they had this mechanism where they were able to lower them, turn them, and so they actually, with a guy on it, and they actually flew him over the entire. I mean, the
Very
liability
cool.
on that alone was
Yeah.
pretty crazy. But it shocked me because I wasn't expecting it, right? I mean, I just thought it was a big, all these smoke effects, right? And then and
Right.
it just dropped, right? Just like Valkyrie right there. Same exact scene. But anyway, so that was that was my weekend. I decided to scope out what they got going on over there.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun. The dark universe where they have all the famous monster stuff was really well done. I,
Cool.
I can't. I want to see it in the day. I only got to see it at night because that was my goal. I'd like to see it in the daytime now because I think I missed out on a lot of the details and stuff there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we got the EXP preview here now, so I have not watched it myself, but we'll get to see what Nick has going on tomorrow on his show at 7 o'clock. And I have to thank Nick. I know he's been promoting a lot of the art sales that we've had on there. I know he drove some traffic to the Joe Phillips show we had last week because he's been promoting everything that we've been having going on here. So thank you as always, Nick. So let's see what he's got going on the EXP.
Everybody, this Friday, May 9th, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, the Original Art Experience. We'll have some new original art, and it's going to be quite a mix. It's going to be a really, really fun mix. This is not everything because we're also going to have a few higher end pieces, And we're also going to have giveaways. You know, some giveaways are predetermined, some will be random. We'll see how it goes. But before we get into it, if you wouldn't mind hitting that thumbs up, sharing is caring, let your friends know, help us grow the channel. And if you have not, please consider hitting that bell for notifications. It'll be really appreciated. All right, so going back almost 30 years, it's crazy. Heroes Reborn, The Return, Salvador La Roca, Scott Hanna inks. This is so friggin' beautiful. I probably should have saved this for closer to the FF movie, but hey, you know what? It's good right now. Then we have Hybrid with Megalith from Mike Diodato. I think this is the first time I've put any Continuity Comics art on the air. Azrael by Sergio Cariello. Oh my God, I'll learn how to say his name before Friday's show. Then we have a Green Lantern 150 page with Tony Stark, and I am kidding, it's not Tony Stark. This is Dale Eaglesham, all right, and I will remember the inker by Friday. I am a mess. Amy should be doing this instead of me. Then Spectacular Spider-Man by Luke Ross. I think this might be Dan Green inks. Sam Glasman, GI Combat. Man, I think I only have 2 pieces of Sam Glasman art. This is awesome. Then I have a recreation of Human Torch, I think number 7. Why am I even putting this on the air? It's got Subby, it's got the Torch. Well, I'm doing it now. Then we've got these recreations of Tales of Suspense 59, 2 features for the price of 1, and Amazing Fantasy 15. We have early Liam Sharp. Check out how different his art was back then. Another 30-plus-year-old page, give or take. Then we have Jim Calafiore. Check out this Aquaman. It is really beautiful, this page. You've got Mark Campos on Journey into Mystery. And then we have Witchblade by Adriano Mello, number 102. We will have a few other pieces of art, some covers, some... Well, we're going to have more. And we're going to have giveaways. Again, some predetermined, and some will be random. But there are a few people that watch our show on a regular basis, so we are doing some predetermined giveaways. So this Friday, May 9th, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you then. Take care, everybody.
And we got the music back. All right. You don't see too many continuity megalith pages out there. I thought that was kind of cool to see. I was like, wait a minute, is that who I think it is? And sure enough, it was. So, I mean, I'd be happy to get a Ms. Mystic page from the first 2 issues by Neil. If I could, if I had the opportunity, I'd be a player. But I think there'd probably be a lot of other people who'd want to get a Ms. Mystic page as well. But yeah, it looks like a good show tomorrow, Nick. So I'll try to tune in if I am able. You have very eclectic tastes. Yeah, well, if you ever have if you have a Ms. Mystic 1 page, Nick, don't put it on the show. Just talk to me. We'll work out a fair price for it. I promise. So let's see. And I thought it was cool. I saw Dave said he picked up one of those RoboCop covers from Juan. So that's cool. Yeah. And then Carl,
one for I think there's one on maybe Comic Connect right now too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. All right. And Carl's collection says he might have to come down a day early to OAX to go to the Universal Monsters area. Yeah, definitely worth it. I did get to ride the Frankenstein ride and the werewolf roller coaster. So tried them both. Frankenstein ride was better than the other one, but you know,
they strap you to a table and shock you.
They should. They definitely should. But no, well, you know, honestly, it was kind of like that. On the Frankenstein ride, it was pretty intense. I don't know how they do some of that stuff, man, with the video screens. They had these like 40-foot tall video screens, and the ones in that one were so crisp. I mean, you know, high definition in a way that I've never seen before, such that I thought some of the characters weren't in the screen, that they were in front of it, but It couldn't have been, but they were so clear that I felt like it was an animatronic in front of a really clear background. But
Very cool.
just yeah, it was definitely different. And yes, just like you, Tom, I am waiting for Ms. Mystic 3 as well. It's only been 40 plus years, right? Or whatever. I mean, maybe not 40, 30, 37 years we've been waiting for Ms. Mystic 3 to come out. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get on with the CAF update here. I've got where's my screen for that? Over here. We have it was actually not the best week for dealers, 177,000 compared to 220 the week before, kind of down. I know Felix is doing a drop tomorrow. I think he's got some stuff coming up. Maybe he's already, or did he even did one earlier in the week. Brit Comics Art did some sales already. So we'll probably have a better week next week. But Albert, he got 70,000. Berkey had 35. Anthony had over 30, and Scott Eater, 24,000. I'm gonna have to go back and just see what Scott sold. Usually Scott sells one big piece, and it's like for 15,000. He sold 14 pieces at 24,000. So he sold a lot of smalls. So I'm kind of curious. I didn't get to see what he dropped. At any rate, let's take a look at the top 6 sales from dealers last week. And again, $177,900. Oh, well, of course. That again, we know why Albert Moy is always smiling. Here we go. A Hush 2 page from 159, pages 2 and 3. Nice DPS. Jim Lee, Scott Williams. You get some some nice tonal work in there, and that one for $25,000. Then Berkey sold this Joe Kubert Sergeant Rock 337 cover. Asking price on this one was $11,000. Oh, there we go. Another Jim Lee Scott Williams. This is from issue 159, page 22. $11,000 on this one too. And well, this was sold by Albert, but it is not Jim Lee. It is Jose Garcia Lopez. Some DC style guide artwork, very cool. And this one for $11,000 as an asking price as well. Oh, okay, we're back. Jim Lee, Scott Williams, issue 158 this time, page 17. So $7,500 on this one. They are really talented together.
Right?
The detail on that stuff, my God, they're great together. Anthony sold this Captain America 143 page. Nice 4-panel piece. John Romita Sr. Pencils and inks on that one, $7,500.
Razor cuts.
Yes, indeed. But boy, when you look at those Batman pages with Jim Lee and Scott Williams, I mean, they care about the art. They really do. They put so much effort into them, man.
I was glad they brought the tonal, like the gray wash flashback sequences from the first one back.
Yeah, that was nice to see. So Brucci says Scott Eater had a great drop this week. I do remember getting his email, but I think I probably red flagged it and then never went back to look at it. I did see the Brit Comics art drop. Chris, you pinged me about it. I actually had another collector say, "Hey, you gonna get that Cyclops prelim?" And I was just like, "No, I can't right now." Yeah. But it's cool to see. I mean, I always I missed his drop too until you guys reminded me it happened. But I always check to see what Melchior drops, because there's usually something interesting that we haven't seen, whether it's coming out of his collection or he gets quietly or Brian to bring something out that from a flat file. They're always fun drops.
Yeah.
All right, then over to the auctions. It's they had the illustration auction was the big thing this week, and then the week before, of course, was the international auction. So 2 weeks ago, they did the combined on auctions was 3.1 million. This time around, it was almost $2 million in overall sales. For the weekly auctions, much less. eBay was just under $100,000, and Heritage was 196. But the illustration auction on its own did 1.7 million. So pretty solid. I have yet to go in and kind of look at all the individual sales, but for that auction, I was kind of curious. I do know that the Frazetta, that female piece that was kind of pencil and watercolor, sold for 112,000. So that's a good price for a piece that's at the end of the day, like I think they're like 7 by 10 or something like that. So a small but fully rendered image in pencil and watercolor, 112. Nice piece. And then the Nagel did over 100 too. But anyways, let's take a look at the top 3 from what do we got? eBay and then Heritage here. So eBay will be first. And I want to know who bought this first piece, but This is somebody named Carol Lay, and did this Def Leppard tribute comic cover plus interior pages, and it did sell at auction. Several bids, I think over 30 bids, 4,250 for that whole set. Then another Tyler Kirkham cover. This one for Spider-Man 800, asking, said it was sold for 4,000. I checked; it was actually best offered at $3,300. And then Tony D. Terlizzi, another Dungeons and Dragons piece. These are always going to sell high because they're published TSR stuff. This one went for $2,827. Then over to Heritage. I didn't feature this one. I don't know why, but it's a Steranko, Frank Giacoia, Nick Fury page that went for $10,200. Should have picked it. But I did pick these next two. Dave Gibbons' Watchmen 9-page from Sal's scrapbook. This is just a set of illustrations, $9,600 on that one. And then that really awesome John Byrne, Tom Palmer, Silver Surfer 1-page went for $6,000. It's beautiful. And I didn't even notice a little bit of Zipatone in there, and the way he's highlighting some of those speed lines. That's kind of a slick effect. I want to go back and actually look at the detail image on that now. We actually looked at that together, and I didn't even notice that before. Damn. Okay, well there you have it. That's the CAF update wrap up for the week. So we can dive into some artwork now, Chris.
All right. I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And we're starting off with something that Peter Rowe has. And I mean, man, let's see. I didn't get my like on any of these, I don't think yet. So George Pratt, Enemy Ace. Holy crap.
I know. So a couple things that absolutely jumped out at me. I mean, one is absolute master class on inking that's taking place here. But if you go back out to the undersized, the smaller image, the plane almost has a photorealistic quality, and it almost feels like Enemy Ace is superimposed in that image, to the point where I wonder if he was light boxing over a photograph for the plane. And that, obviously we have no way of knowing, but the plane, the tones on the plane, especially the lighting, has a really towards the nose photorealistic effect.
I was gonna say it's all on the nose of the plane. It looks he's really got the depth down.
Illustrated, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. A really cool that makes him pop. The difference in the difference in the, well, obviously the tone of the plane behind him helps as well, but the difference in the quality of the two pieces almost being put together like that has a cool highlighting effect on the character.
Agreed. Oh, and there you go. Kazra says he talks to Lightbox. And Kazra would know. Kazra's been to his studio a bunch. Yeah, I mean it's crazy. But now knowing that's even makes it more impressive, because I feel the same way too. The way the way he's got the depth and just kind of the dingy quality on the plane. But yeah, George is amazing. And he did a lot of great work for people who went to OAX, myself included. So
this is beautiful. Outstanding. And as a thumbnail, I mean, it just woo, I went right to it.
I think I would have picked it too if you hadn't, because it's just too nice. But Peter Rowe, reeling him in. I know he had a very good show too with his other pickups. But yeah, this is fantastic. I hope he's getting some comments on it. 12 comments, good. And Marcus got in there first, like he always does. But very nicely done. Now let's see here. Oh, this was a good one too. So this is Jim Lee Scott Williams. We got an uncanny page that it's an end page. The last panel. That's kind of the what you'd want, a nice awesome Colossus from these guys.
Right, and that's essentially why I picked it. I mean, Jim Lee, I think, probably does my favorite Colossus. Not even probably. Jim Lee does my favorite Colossus, and so to have that killer Colossus image on the on the end page of a title, I mean, we're getting to a point now where this is historically significant. You know what I mean? It seems like we grew up with this, quote unquote, but truly this is like a seminal run on the title. It's, certainly for a lot of people, their favorite work by Jim Lee. I'd be hard pressed to argue that myself, to be honest, but for me, it's just all about that image of Colossus.
Yeah, no, it's incredible.
I changed my mind, Marcus.
What?
This
Oh,
image changed my mind. It changed my life.
right. And Jewish Dragon says has schooled me in a good way. Someone named Carol Lay. That's what I said. Someone named Carol Lay. I've never heard of Carol Lay before. Ian says that she's been drawing since the mid 1970s. She worked with Crumb at Weirdo. She published at Fantagraphics and worked at Bongo. All right. I am.
I didn't know that either.
I am going to look up Carol Lay and get. I don't know. I mean, I feel terrible now, but there's you can't know everything.
Yep.
But Carol Lay,
Unless
right
you're
in all caps down here at the bottom, I'm going to make sure that I do some research on Carol Lay. I only care about Frito. That is our brand of chips around here. I will give you that. But no, I think this is a great page too. And yeah, even though I wasn't reading the book at this point in time, I mean, I look at these pieces and I think I can see why they're significant to collectors and why they fetch the prices that they do. It's just too memorable. I mean, there were so many the storylines during Jim Lee's run were all great, and on Uncanny in particular, and so I get it. Bootlegging. So Dan says Rick Leonardi draws his favorite Colossus,
and here I thought Dan's favorite was Cassara for obvious reasons.
Yes, exactly. Now this next piece, I did not read if Jerry Bourne. Okay, he didn't even write a description, so we have no description here. This piece was done this year, and obviously it is Kevin Nolan who was at OAX, as was Jerry. So I don't know if this was picked up there or not, but holy crap! When I saw this piece,
yeah,
I mean. And speaking of, Leonardi, somebody who's I love drawing, these characters. I'm blown away. I would love to see a whole book by Kevin Nolan on Cloak and Dagger. Oh my God.
Well, and like the more I thought about it, like what a brilliant request for Kevin Nolan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because look at the contrast. You have to have contrast, right? Like that's basically what these two are all about. And to see I feel like it's an untoward amount of black for what we're used to. Not that he, shies away from blacks, but I mean, wow. There's just there's so much black on this. And it really makes you, obviously it's supposed to, but it makes you pour over everything else. And you start to look at the folds in Cloak's cape and the hatching that's going on in the background. And we don't need the city really at all, but there it is. It's almost a bonus piece of the commission. It grounds it really nicely, but I mean, you just can't look away from those figures.
No, not at all. I mean, I was floored when I saw this thing. I can't even imagine how Jerry felt when he got to see it for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite remarkable. And yeah, you're right. The city is an afterthought, but it's fun because, I mean, it's no city like we'll ever see, right? I mean, just the way he's I mean, it's like falling off the earth. I mean, it's just curving out. It doesn't matter. I mean, but like you said, he used it to ground them. But I'm with Rich Danny's. This is all about the cloak, and the thing is, the cloak even has a feel of it's visceral. It feels like it's alive. I mean, it looks like it almost has veins, in it. I mean, I want to see more of Cloak and Dagger from Kevin Nolan,
right?
For sure. After seeing this thing, but boy, wherever Jerry is, congrats. He's probably still, on a high after getting this one.
I love a piece that it defies talking about it. We don't. I don't need to say anything about this. Just look at it.
Yeah. No, I mean, the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm just, it's fantastic. It really is. So let's see. Let me get over here. So a Stelfreeze piece. He does these things where, he paints kind of in monotones every once in a while, and it always throws me. But that's
why I picked it, because when we feature Stelfreeze on here, typically we talk about his palette, right? And he's kind of painting with one arm tied behind his back here by choice, because he decided to go, you know, a little more, you know, down tempo, monochromatic. Like, you still get greens and you still get, you know, there's this pops of red and things like that, but even some of the reds are muted. He really only goes wild on Black Widow's lipstick,
Mhm.
you know, as far as the chroma is concerned on this piece. But it's a cool composition. I loved this series too. Like, honestly, one of my favorite covers of all time is from this series. Lee Weeks did a Nick Fury piece for one of these covers, and like, if I ever find it, I don't care if I have to sell my house, I'm getting it. Anyway, earlier, you know, kind of earlier, well, not earlier, but like, this is a little bit old for Stelfreeze, so you still have a little bit more of the, in my opinion, like the Gaijin Studios vibes on particularly like Daredevil's face.
Mhm. Oh, I see what you're saying. Sure. Pearson influence a little bit or something, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's yeah, it's still a very nice piece. You know, but I'm not familiar with Shadows and Light though as a title. I'll have to look that up. Shadows and Light. Interesting.
There was
Well,
a great Thing story in that, which is why I probably bought it in the first place. But
all right. Well, this one has my like on it, and it's in Andrew Hanna's calf gallery, of course. Then Jason Sean Alexander drawing some Ninja Turtles. I got an email today. I heard Jason Sean Alexander is going to be doing a Zoop campaign sometime in the near future. So I forget what for. I think Kazra was in that email too. Somebody was letting us know about it. But I love Jason's work. I always have, and it's great that we have a guy like Jason working in, you know, comics and narrative artwork, because, you know, he just brings a fine art approach to
right,
the characters we love, and some we don't. But
this
it's
has
great to see.
this just has so many fun little touches on it. I First of all, I love tonal paper. Like, having the tonal paper like give you your mid-tone, I feel like lets artists really push values. So that's always fun. But like, I like that the, you know, the weapons are basically like carved out of the negative space in that like steam or smoke, or I'm guessing steam because they're in a sewer or something like that. So, you know, you kind of let your imagination run wild a little bit as far as like where are they, like what's, you know, what's actually happening. But I think more than anything, I said this to somebody recently, but one of the reasons that I like commissioning the Thing is that everybody can kind of do what they want with how he looks. And I feel like the Ninja Turtles have a little bit of that too. Like, everybody kind of like, you know, applies a little stylistic tweak to like how they look and feel and things like that. And like, this has that, like, it's got an animated bent to it, but to your point, like the fine art background, particularly in some of the anatomy, like on, you know, the shoulder in the foreground, I'm guessing, let's see, that's got to be Raphael in the foreground. Raphael's shoulder, like that's like just really flat out good anatomy on a cartoon turtle.
Exactly. And I love kind of piling them, you know, in perspective together like that. It just, I mean, it's literally like an you know, 8 armed creature,
Yeah,
but
like
it's the turtles.
one thing.
One thing, right?
Yeah.
And that's what caught me, you know, because I saw this one as a thumbnail too. I had to go look at it because, you know, I didn't know what I was looking at as in a thumbnail, and that doesn't happen too often, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, I know I agree. I love the negative space. I love the swords and the you know, the staff just being brought
Shape.
out by the steam, right? I mean, that's just fun and something you're not normally going to be able to have, you know, have an artist do in a published page, but you have a commission on tonal paper, you can
Mhm.
get away with a lot more. And any artist who's savvy enough to kind of, you know, take advantage of the things that are already in front of them with regards to the paper. Hey,
Yeah.
hallelujah. I like the way the chains are done just with white paint. Didn't even worry
Yeah.
about giving them any kind of depth or depth or sheen or anything. They're just
Don't have to.
chain links. Yep. And it works. And where were we at here? This was Brent Jones Calf Gallery. All right. Then next up in whose calf gallery was this? Oh, Peter Marino. All right. So then this is you know, this is a very nice page. Sad,
Yeah.
but um, but a well rendered destruction scene.
I think that's kind of what, you know, drew me to it, is like, it's really emotive. And Immonen, you know, he can draw anything. He can draw everything. You know, I mean, there's so much on on this page, you know, so much destructions. I mean, there's blown out buildings, there's a Hulk on it. But you don't really care about any of that kind of stuff because of the like gravity that he was able to portray with Spidey and DD there. So, you know, he adds weight to it or Wade did, I guess, but I think I would guess that Stewart's pencils are pretty tight. He adds, you know, visual weight at the same time, right? Like the way he inked DD's costume and like, you know, the way the Hulk is lit, you know, the way they're lit from above, like it literally grounds the whole thing with ink and like adds that kind of like, you know, literal depth and emotional depth at the same time.
Yeah, no, it's very nice. Who's the inker on it? Oh, wait, Grob Badger. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, great page. Very,
Another
very.
pair that's better together, like Lee and Williams.
Mm-hmm. All right. You picked Corona's work a few times, right? I
Yeah, a
think.
couple.
But I like this page just because everything has an energy to it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's so active.
Yeah, it really is, and it jumped off even as a thumbnail. I had to check it out because the same thing. It was like I couldn't figure out, you know, because I don't see any borders here, so there was visual interest from the get go. But yeah, looking at the detail on it, I mean, I think it's just a fantastic page.
There's so many like
fun.
little marks. Like he's using like dashes to, you know, really construct entire elements. Like at the bottom, you know, that, you know, building whatever they're going towards, like it's really just a series of like checks and squares and dashes, but like it all reads. And like at the same time, if you scroll back up and you look at, I think that's Cliff Jumper on the top right. Keep
Oh,
going.
sorry, here we go.
There you go. If you look at his face, it's really kind of sparse in a way. It's like kind of held together by the fact that like, you know, it's a head, you know, it's a face, but like with, I'm not going to say minimal effort, but with minimal like continual line work, really, it's really cohesive and it really reads.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you mean there, but yeah, it's. I even love the way he's drawn the, you know, these kind of repetitive things for motion and stuff. I mean, it's great.
It has kind of an experimental feel to it in parts.
Well, I picked a piece for somewhat similar reasons when we get to mine.
All
So
right.
we'll yeah, it'll be fun to compare the two. This one's far more detailed than mine, though.
Okay.
All right, and did I get the? Yeah, I got the like Southern Comic Geek. Jason, another good one. This was fun. All right, so Kevin Catalan, and this is in Shane Collects Calf Gallery. A 2-year veteran of calf.
I know a few Kevin Catalan fans. I think like the stuff that I'm seeing come out from him recently really shows some growth artistically. But what I like about this is I like the angle that he chose to kind of like shoot the image from. And I also really like this through line. Like literally there are lines that are like cutting diagonally across the piece that are kind of like visually linking Batman and Robin. So you get that like team vibe from them, even though like Robin's way in the foreground, Batman's in the background. Like you get this like cohesive element, visual element that's, you know, and, you know, structural element that's like tying the two together. No pun intended.
Yeah, no, I think it's very cool as well. I think the perspective on it is just fun, and I like the fact that Batman's kind of you know, he's smaller, he's handling the battle, and you get Robin up front. I mean, typically, who wants a big picture of Robin? You know, not many people, but it just makes it work, and it does look like Batman's doing all the work with you know, trying to rip his head off, basically. Which I think is pretty cool. But you're right. Love the Stingray enjoys the background and the masks and the lighting. I mean, all of that. They're on a stage. It's kind of it's definitely a fun perspective for this piece.
The whole thing is really like lively and exaggerated, and like, you know, you said it's fun. It really is fun.
And this was a commission. Yes, a commission piece. Only 2 comments on it. And yep, there we go. We can get some more on that one if we try.
Surprised Tyler T's not on there because he's a Kevin Catalan diehard.
Probably in his keywords, then he should have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then next up, oh, this is in Shannon's calf gallery. That's right. So we have ER Cruise. What's this from? All Out War issue 1 from 79.
Yeah, this is another page I picked because it's really like lively. Like those first 3 panels, there is a ton of, movement, action, whatever you want to call it, but like it's really like visually arresting in those first 3 panels, and like a lot happens, and then like storyline wise it's like, okay, we blew up the tank, like let's chat a little bit.
Right, and Dog's okay. But I like that last panel, just the way he's kind of cut off the panel there, with that kind of oval shape, with the figure there. I mean, I great storytelling. And you're right, those first 3 panels though are really badass. I mean, they just especially that Blang. No, that's nice. ER Cruise. I mean, I know I see ER Cruise a lot, but I can't think of like, well, what does ER Cruise? What is he most known for? In their work, is it war stories?
Hard pressed myself, to be honest. This was a book that I happen to know their work from, but yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check.
I'm
that
assuming Filipino because of the timing and because of the the book and kind of art style as well. But
there you go. Marcus says horror and war, and Rich says DC mystery titles. Okay, which would probably include horror and war.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Next up, well, yeah, that's Steve Lawrence picking up one of the more memorable, Romita Jr. covers ever, made, in my opinion, at least X-Men, right, side of things. And it was Dan Green. See, I had a feeling, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, this is one of those pieces that gets added to CAF, and it's kind of like they didn't talk about that, so
right,
a softball.
Exactly. Yes, if you wouldn't have, I would have. I mean, it's just so memorable, and there's a lot of uncanny covers out there that I think you could look at and say we all remember incredibly fondly and stuff. But this was still early enough with Rogue as a character that there were just so many still unknowns about it, and then you have
questions,
and you see this, and I mean, gosh, I didn't even think it's Mohawk Storm too. I mean, there's so many things about this cover that are just freaking unbelievable, and Steve Lawrence just keeps adding great piece after great piece after great piece to his collection. And you see a piece like this and you think whoever he had to get it from had to let this go.
Yeah,
that's the first thing I thought, honestly. And I thought, how do you let that go? Because me as a collector, today, if I special pieces like this, I don't know if I could let go of at this point in my collecting career. And
I know that there's stuff that somebody will have to sell when I'm dead. I'm perfectly fine with that.
But this has got to be tough because it's because again, you could look at it. I think of like Michael Lovitz with George Perez pages. I mean, there's a lot out there. You can always get another good one, but can you literally say you get another great John Romita Jr. Uncanny X-Men cover inked by Dan Green? They're out there, but are they as memorable as this one? Not too many. And so anyways, congrats to Steve though, because
one thing I wanted to touch on, like the published image. Is in the secondary. I absolutely love that they chose orange and blue for this.
Yeah.
Right? It could have been red, it could have been purple, it could have been something that was, heavier, darker, whatever. Obviously dark subject matter, but like the fact that they went with orange and blue on the published cover, I thought was brilliant.
Well, it made it pop. That's for sure. You weren't going to miss it. But man, anyway, Steve, we're all indebted to you for continuing to share your amazing collection on the site. I just want to say that up front, that a lot of people who have collections that are like this don't tend to show their best stuff, if anything at all. So we're very, very happy to have Steve posting as much as he does. Okay, that was your last one. Well, congrats.
Yep,
You did a very good job. And the thing is, there was a lot of great artwork at the cap
there
this last
was.
week. And I kind of did my picks yesterday. Well, no, I started them yesterday, finished them today after I got your email. But yeah, there was just I could have probably picked at least another 5 or 10 to talk about. I mean, and part of it was that, we had May the 4th. And by the way, happy birthday. I know we just
Thank you.
officially had that on the 5th.
I'm 50.
I had a beer in your honor while I was
Appreciate
at
that.
Epic Universal. But so yeah, May the 4th, you have Butch Guice passing, and so
Yeah.
there was just a lot of cool stuff to look at, whether you're a Star Wars fan or you're a fan of Butch's work. And so I kind of like leaned in both of those directions a bit. So a friend's Tom Palmer cover posted by Dino. I mean, this is, there's it's just a wonderful image. But even when I look at it, I'm reminded of like biblical imagery and stuff, and I see
Sure.
this and I'm thinking, there's just there's an approach to this artwork that just I, I don't even I can't even put words to it. But when I see it, I just think that friends had to know what the pose that he was trying to come up with, and that there was that there's a reverence here, and it just works so well. And I love the way the backgrounds were rendered here.
Yep.
uh Everything about it, it's just a
I was gonna
remarkable
say
piece.
the backgrounds almost have like a throwback, like Tomb of Dracula vibe from Palmer
Yeah,
versus what you would expect to see him do over top of Ron
that's
Friends like
true.
at any other time.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. But anyways, this is great. And Dino always kind of comes up and drops a bombshell
Yeah.
when you least expect it. And here there's this one, and appropriately timed too, because of the May the 4th stuff going on. Now this one is I always forget the name. It's Phoenix's Galactic Gallery. 7-year member on CAF, Keith Pollard. Uh, I don't know. It was funny. I was looking at it's two dramatic characters
Hmm.
on covers, and yeah,
Big
I mean, come
bads.
on, right? I mean, it's Pollard, and doing his Buscema thing. This is just a great, great image, and
He's an amazing FF artist, like no question.
yeah, I love Pollard on FF and Thor.
Yeah, great
More on
Thor.
FF though, but yeah, this is cool, and let's say I did get my like on it, but another person who posts a lot of great artwork to their calf.
Mhm.
So very nice to see.
It's a fun way, it's a fun way to like include the FF on basically a Galactus cover, right?
Yep. Yeah. Basically in like little crystal balls
Yep.
floating in space, but it works, and it's timely. Come on. I mean, we got the FF movie coming out. We know Galactus is going to
With
be in it.
Galactus, yeah.
Yep. And there he is, just cosmically floating in space.
He's pissed though.
He is. Now, this one is in JN80. Well, I pick a lot of stuff from JN80. I guess it's just my thing. But J.H. Williams artwork here. Overall, the image is fine. I just like the composition of the page with the lettering and the way it works with the characters. That was the thing that struck me most, and I just thought the compositionally, it's awesome. It's a I don't know what year was that, the year in here, 1998. So for the time, the lettering feels very 1998, but it's just fun seeing the story title interacting with the characters to make the page. And
Well, and I mean that's really, I mean, this is early J.H. Williams too.
mm,
Well, yeah, ish. But this is what we always associate him with. So there's no surprise that like we're talking about like the way he integrated type into a composition, right? Or the fact that the fact that it's a big feature of one of his compositions and it's like perfectly designed. That's kind of like what I think about when I think about his work, regardless of he's a great illustrator and all that stuff, like without question. But this is what I think about as his, like, maybe his, you talked earlier about artists have predilections or things that they do better than they do other things. With me, what I think about with him is like how he uses the page, how he puts the page together, and how he integrates type into things.
Well, yeah, this is it's a great page. I'm very I was really happy to see it. And yeah, I think it's man, I'd be happy to have that one. So Mick Gray was the inker on that one. Cool. And Rick Welch has to rub it into Bob. Helvetica for the win. All right, where we go from here? This is my energy page. Even though it's not like yours, right? I know that this is Jeff Wedding's pickup, and I didn't put my like on there. Brian Thies did this. I know this was a pickup at OAX. I've always liked Brian's work. Just doesn't fall into my area of collecting, but I just love. I mean, I love the way he's just like kind of noodling around a lot with a brush, and then I feel like there's just the right kind of energy. I love the view from inside the ship,
Yeah.
smaller ship. So yeah, there was just something fun about this, and I love just the way he's framed it. Right? I mean, I think that's just cool, and I think the other page that Jeff had similar kind of feel and brushwork kind of going into it to kind of give it that kind of, I don't know, I don't want to call it energy here because it's not the same as yours, but I was picking it for the
Visually
same
it is.
reasons.
I mean, visual
Yeah.
energy, that counts. Like the like levity of the brushstroke and things like that all come into like how fun is this to look at, right?
Mhm, mhm.
What I really love about this is that little vignette with like them looking up at the Star Destroyer from the smaller ship. That is so Star Wars. Like
Yeah,
that's tonally perfect.
agreed. It's a trap, says Tom. Let me see. I think there you go. There's even a picture. Oh, it's so huge. Let me see if I can. Jeff, the
Giant Jeff.
happiest guy on the show floor, but any show floor, picking up, because look at the
Pretty
other piece
much.
too. It has that same kind of vibe to it. Where the heck is where are you standing at, Jeff? Are you looking at Anthony's stuff? I can't figure. Oh, that's the pillar. Okay. I couldn't figure out where the heck in the hall he's standing. You're standing next to a pillar, and that's where Mark Hayes' booth was. That's right. Yeah, that threw me because it almost looks like a wall. I know there's no wall in the middle of the hall floor. Either way,
You're
you know,
trying to orient yourself with OAX landmarks.
well, yeah, this photo is very disorienting. But either way, Brian was like was kind of I wouldn't say it was a last minute ad, but I know that when Mark was kind of pulling together his the artists that were coming to the show, I think Brian was one of the last ones to get added, and you could tell Jeff was happy,
Right?
because I think he had a few other pieces from Brian in his collection. So yeah, that
Very
I love
cool.
it when a plan comes together. So congrats, Jeff. Next up, this is a smaller scan from our buddy Daryl, Barry Kitson piece. I just like the composition on it. Obviously it's not something that I would have read with Azrael in the question, but
Mhm.
I think it's just a cool cover image. In general, I love how it's drawn. I love the roulette wheel, in the background. I mean, it's just I love how the smoke's drawn. It's just a cover that appeals to me on every single level.
Yeah, I think, Kitson did, I would say, the lion's share of his stuff at DC on like, for me, I read him on Legion for, all those years and things like that. And like, I didn't initially have a ton of like respect for what he did because I felt like it was kind of workmanlike. But then you see him pull out something like this where it's really not like he's this doesn't like scream Barry Kitson to me necessarily, probably because you don't see anyone's face, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of times we like stylistically, like we cue in on how an artist draws a character's face. So you got the question who doesn't have a face, and you got Azrael who wears a helmet. So you don't really get that. But like, my point is that I came to really enjoy Barry Kitson, and this is from that era where I was like, yeah, Barry Kitson's good. I like him. And so for me, like I had this comic, like I read all these DC Plus. They were basically like team up books that they did for a month. And I love the question and I love Azrael and I hate Daryl. So this is a great pick.
Yeah, I get that. And as
Oh
Jeff,
yeah, Jeff points out two Vegas calf collectors back to back.
yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, no, Matt Kennedy is not next on my list. So there's not it's not the trifecta of
This has
Las
a
Vegas.
Vegas element too with the roulette wheel.
That yeah, he's got that's. I wonder if that played any role in Daryl picking that up. Probably not. But Butch Guice piece here, Resurrection Man 16, and I mean, is there anything special about it? It is kind of fun. The thing that I like about it is that it's so minimal.
Mhm.
I like that the Supergirl image is the tonal work, for the shading. It's just not something that I would. There's something 60s about this. Let's just put it
I
that way.
was gonna say the same thing, and you know what I think it is? It's
You're gonna
the
say it's the burning
pose.
blimp, or it's what is it? You tell me what
It's
you
the
feel it is.
pose.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Her
Okay.
pose is so Silver Agey Supergirl.
Mm. All right. I'm with you there. Yeah, that because stylistically, he's making a choice to do
Yep,
this,
100%,
and
because you wouldn't jar that stiff, right?
hmm exactly. So I thought this was cool. I mean, Mickey
Mhm.
always pulls out nice stuff,
Of
and you
course.
just never know. But I mean, and I'm sure he said, I got to put something up there by Butch, and we had Joe Phillips on over the weekend. We had a Resurrection Man cover that Geis inked, and I know Geis took I think over the book after Joe did his one fill-in issue. But yeah, so for me, there was just a lot of reasons to pick this piece. But I did like the fact that. Because there's stuff the only Butch Guice piece I hadn't posted was the one that I got from Rick, that heavy metal page, and
Mhm.
I'd forgotten how kind of there it felt like there was a lot of experimental brushworky kind of stuff going in there that had a little bit of energy quality, and so I see some of that here, even though I know this is 30 years old. I see something related to a piece that I hadn't looked at since I got it about a year ago. At any rate, I think it's fantastic, uh, and Geis was Geis. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just a great artist.
It almost makes it the pose especially almost makes me wonder if this was like a tongue-in-cheek kind of like homage to an old like Bender cover or something like that
Mm.
like I'm just not aware of necessarily what he's homaging, but
I'm gonna
um
scroll down just on the outside chance that nope, okay. I was gonna say that if he put something down there that was a reference to what it was from, I would have.
yeah,
All right,
it
but he
just has
didn't.
that feel to it. Like in Resurrection Man, like they did a lot of that kind of like not well, like pastiches of things and stuff like that. It was kind of like a not superhero book and things like that. And so when they dragged the regular cast, of the DCU into it, it wouldn't have surprised me if this was like a tribute or an homage to an old Supergirl cover, I guess.
So you said something about the DCU, and I was reminded of a comment I highlighted earlier, real earlier at 9:02. Tom McDonald said the Pope is a DC fan. So,
Hmm.
hey, all right, that's something. I don't know
I'll
why.
take it.
All right, where are we going to from here? I got four more pieces to look at. Yeah, this is an odd pick, I know, but it's a Kirby collage,
I
and
like these.
I do too. And who's Calf Gallery in here? Aaron and uh, I just think that these are cool, and I don't, I have never read a biography about Kirby or to understand, why he decided to do these things, but
I think he is pushing the medium. I think he
th-
was, I think he was a little bored. I think he wanted to, this was like, I think energetic or inspirational for him.
I get it, but the thing is, it could be, well, you can't say it could be done by anybody, right? When you're doing collage,
No.
you don't look at it, you don't see anything Kirby reference wise there, but we now view these things as Kirby because he's the one that did them and he's the
Yeah.
one that was doing them in that era. And I mean, so for that, it's kind of fun to think that a guy was able to make artwork that makes you think of him or them, even when they weren't really like laying down any marks on the page and
Yeah.
just doing something for the joy of doing it, or for whatever storytelling element that they felt was able to be done there. I mean, look at these, just got all kinds of crazy stuff collaged into here. Um, yeah, cool stuff.
I mean, we have photo covers, we have, all kinds of stuff like that that isn't, traditional
Mhm.
like pen and ink artwork. I think, this obviously it has a place, and like frankly, who are we to question Jack Kirby?
Right. No, not at all. Absolutely not.
Who's anyone to question Jack Kirby?
So this is from a Jimmy Olsen book, by the way, 134. Very cool. Then this is in Mikhail's Calf Gallery. I've always been looking, but Jack Katz is just kind of an enigma as an artist and the stuff that they got to work on. But I think that I've been looking for a page by Katz for a while, just never finding anything that I'd ever want to buy. But if I had seen this one, I would have been like, yeah, this is great. I'd be happy to have this as an example from him. And it was inked by Liam Sharp of all people. And I know that Liam worked with Katz on a few things, but I just think it's just a great page. And because I've seen a few Katz pieces that that I should have probably bought, but the artwork didn't really do anything for me. I like this. I love all it's probably Liam. It's probably Liam adding enough to it that visually it just is more interesting. I mean, this guy with the rings. I mean, the bald guy. Is all the wrinkles in his weird looking face and whatever he's wearing there for a
it feels like
jacket.
quietly.
Right. It does have a little quietly feel to it. Even look at this. That's a quietly pair of lips if I've ever seen one. He drew Emma Frost like that all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's something really special about this page, and I was jealous when I saw it. I mean, even this last panel. I mean, the perspective on it, the way the shirt is drawn on this guy. I mean, it's all fluid, and yeah. I mean,
it's fine in places. It's like amazing line work in some spots too. I really like the fact that you get the blue line lettering.
That too. There's a lot to like here. It just makes me happy to think that I can go. I'm going to put a Jack Katz in my keyword searches, and maybe something will turn up. Right? Because I'm happy to see this because I haven't found one yet that I wanted. But anyway, great pick up here, Mikhail. Then where do we go from here? Max Fiamara.
I was gonna pick this.
Isn't this awesome?
Yeah,
I love the Fiamara brothers. Max Fiamara, it's always been somebody whose work I really, really appreciate. I love the angle on this scene. That Juggernaut fighting Spidey is always going to be a fun image for a battle, but I just love the destruction, but I love the detail in the destruction. I love the way he's treated the characters. I mean, the muscles here on Juggy's shoulder, it's just like that. It just works. I mean, I love. I mean, everything. I can't. The more I look around at it, I mean, I just think there's not one area that is not treated with the utmost respect for this battle. I mean, it's just great.
I also like the fact that his Spidey has a little Bocello influence on it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and that kind of
just Spidey, but like stylistically, like he made some of those same choices, like the lenses and like almost the pose a little bit. He typically I feel like he likes to draw him like crouched up and like small, like almost a ball. So it's got a little bit of that going for it, but like everything else is just like destruction. Like there's something to look at like on every square inch of this. It's just a great commission.
Yeah, it really, really is. That's compact, says Marcus. Yeah, that's the way to put it.
I kind of like how at first I thought it was a failing, which is honestly why I didn't pick this, but the more I look at it, so Juggernaut's face is almost on a plane inside of his helmet. But like when you think about the fact that like one, he's a big block, right? Juggernaut's like a big like a chest freezer that's like walking around. And his helmet it doesn't move. It's like a solid like dome. It makes the flat plain face make sense to me now.
Well, I'm surprised that the face was holding you back from picking this piece.
It was, yeah.
See, I almost didn't even notice that Juggernaut had eyes in her mouth because I was just so in love with the action and Spidey and everything else around it. Because you're right. Now that I look at it, it does look a little odd, but it works still. But
that's what I'm saying. Like, it works. Like he did the right thing. I just didn't get it initially.
Well, for those of you who aren't on the Fiumara bandwagon, this piece should at least make you look at more of his work. So yeah,
Sep's good too. Very
yeah.
good.
All right, and again, this is in Shane Collects. So we got one more here, and this is uh, Jeremy Wilson, who was at OAX, and of course, this is in our buddy Danny, Rom's Calf Gallery. This was done, painted on, I think, a piece of aluminum, if I remember reading the description right.
I love it.
Yeah, he had done Jeremy had done a Dr. Fate on a piece of copper, or maybe it was brass. It might have been brass. Either way, and it did something similar where he was just kind of letting the metal show through. And I remember he had it at IX, and it didn't sell there, but it did sell at OAX. And I think that probably Rom saw the piece there and was just like, I gotta, I want to have him do something similar. Yeah, why not, right? And I think I I don't really remember reading the description here, but I think that they had to do, I'm sure Jeremy had to like figure out, what's the right thing to do with aluminum to try to put paint on it. I'm sure you had to do something, as far as like roughing up the surface a little bit, or doing some kind of an etch in it to
You can
to
get
give it
etched
some
sheets too.
right, so that the paint won't peel eventually. It's aluminum, Dr. Fate, totally. Yeah, there you go, Rob. Uh, but yeah, I think it's just fun, and I've always liked Jeremy's work. I think it's cool that we're getting to see more of Jeremy's stuff on CAF. Jeremy's going to be returning to OAX and all that, and I think that he's just somebody that whose work I've always admired at IX for years, and it's just neat to see a guy like him getting some attention over on our side of things. So Tatiana's very fortunate to be bringing his artwork out there for us to enjoy.
This feels like either box art for
Mm.
a ROM toy or like an ad that we would have seen in the comics for the toy, right?
Right.
Because it's simple enough to you know what's happening. It gets across like, oh, you're like, oh, cool, ROM, but like it's not narrative to the point where you're wondering like, what's happening in this image, right? It's just right there.
Exactly, and that's true. I mean, I liked it for the same reason, but I couldn't put my finger on it because it's not like he's really battling. He just flew through this, it's more of a pose. It is almost like it's like box art or something. But there was something that I liked about that, drawing the character for the character's sake, not necessarily to do like the last piece we looked at, with a battle
Right.
scene and stuff. And there's still a lot visually going on here, even though it's done that way. Yeah, no, I mean that's this would make a good box art for a ROM
Right.
toy
Or a t-shirt
or a
or
t-shirt. Yeah.
whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, Rom, wonderful pickup on this one. I hope we get to see some more of Jeremy's work on the site as the months and years go by. So we did it. Another one in the books. We just crossed the 3-hour mark, but we had the fun intro with Tom Layton. So you can't. It's like the story, he and Butch doing coke for a 3-day jag to get a book done.
Cocaine.
That's the stories we get, from Tom. But yeah, could you imagine the tell-all book that he could write?
I
mean,
can't.
Yeah, the
Also
stories.
from his viewpoint, you know what I mean?
Right,
As
exactly. He'll be like,
narrator.
yeah, I was on one side of the room and so were on the other, and yeah, I don't even want. But yeah,
Can you
that
imagine how
would be
much he
fun.
talks when he's on cocaine?
Well, yeah, I think yeah, but he's been 35 years sober, thank goodness.
Yep.
But yeah, those were the days. But as always, Chris, thank you for the card, man. I really appreciate that. I think now that you've convinced me that I am going to have to get some kind of a binder with the proper sleeves. I'm not sure even where to start to find, trade. They must have them for sports cards and stuff, right? So I should probably just be able to go to look to any
Mylar sheets, go to Amazon.
DCW place or something like that, and they'd have something.
Go to Amazon, you can get 100 of them in a pack for pennies.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well,
Probably
thank
get
you.
them already loaded into a binder.
Probably, yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, the Pokemon store, says Marcus. Yeah, I should
Yeah,
probably
go
just
hit
ask
your
my
kids
kids.
up. How are they storing all those Pokemon cards?
There's probably a Pokemon binder in the house right now that I don't even have to buy my own. I should get-
100% there is.
All right. Thank you,
All right.
Marcus, for that thought.
There you
Oh
go.
man. All right, Chris. Well, again, I hope you had a great birthday, and I know you got the big group event
Shindig
later
in
on
2
this month.
weeks. Yeah.
That's going to be awesome. You'll have to get some pictures because I mean, you said Tyler's going to be there and a few other art collectors. So be
Some
sure to
great
get some group photos from that, since I won't get to
Anybody
enjoy
in
it
the
with
chat,
you.
if you find yourself in the Madison, Wisconsin neighborhood, stop by May 31st. Hit me up on CAF. I'll give you the address.
Yeah, it's a lot of money is going to be spent on beer that
Open
evening.
bar. Yes. We're doing open bar. Yeah.
That's open bars are a thing these days.
In Wisconsin, they're always a thing.
Oh man. All right. Well, listen, you have a wonderful night, man. And I will see you again next week.
All right. Thanks, Bill. See you guys.
All right, everybody. So fun night as always. And looks like maybe we'll have Bob on one more time next week because with the Agnes second visit, that'll be fun. We at least got to see some art from that one. But I did make it past midnight, but yeah, reluctantly, but we needed to today. Lots of stuff going on. So just remember, everybody, new app out there, new app version 2. Please download it, put it through the ringer. So, send your best friend who also has the app an email through the app, comment on their artwork, let them get the feel for it, and share it. Share the app with anyone you see. Run into a friend at a show or a comic shop, whatever. Let's get more people using the app. We're at a really solid spot now, and the thing is, by the time we hit version 3, which we anticipate that's going to be a fall release, there's a lot more things, side projects that we have going on in here that Maureen's working on, and there's stuff that she has to do before she can give it to Andy. So there's some cool stuff, really cool stuff that we're going to be able to reveal and release over the next few months. But let's get everybody using it now. So when that great moment happens with V3, we have a really solid core group of people who are already using it, and it's worth it. And it's been a lot of work to get here, but we're really proud of it, and we want all of you to utilize it and take full advantage of it. All right, so I'm calling it a night, but thank you for hanging out with me. Remember, Mr. DeTulio will have a show on Saturday at 2:00, and you'll get to meet the Simones, ask them about their art collecting habits and tastes and things that catch their eye, or anything else you'd like to talk to them about. And then we got a full slate of programming next week. But yeah, you won't see. I won't be back until Monday night with that Heritage Auction preview. So have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for hanging out.